Hey guys, it's Steve with Orlando Collector Deviants. Tonight we are on with like Mr. Celebrity himself, Syfy Sean, and Lori's off to the side. You can't see her, but she's there.
She's gonna pop in. She's gonna pop in. What's going on, gang?
How are you tonight, sir?
I am about fair to middling. That's a
See,
really good thing to say. But you were showing some
I
really old pictures of me on the opening of this show, so I'm gonna talk like an old guy. Like one of those
well,
was like
I
those.
well, I always got to go back and try to find an old picture to throw up. Now you had some for next time I'm gonna keep, because there's like some grade school pictures that were in there that I could have, thrown in.
Yeah, back in my youth days, back when I was really cool and stuff. Awesome.
Now I do got to ask, the picture of somebody trying to take a bite out of your ass. How did
Yeah,
that come around?
that was my friend Kevin. I used to hang back in the old days when I used to work with Joe Moat at the Volcon Star Trek convention 30 plus years ago. Kevin and Steve were a member of a group. They called themselves Psycho, SCI, like science fiction, and it was company. And they were a group of great costumers. And everything I know about costuming now, which is far for an old guy, was awesome back then because they told me a lot of really cool ideas and behind the scenes of how to do like makeup. Hey, you want to do Two Face? I don't like Two Face on this video. I need to get a light there. That's crazy. But they said, you want to do Two Face? You don't have anything? Get some spirit gum and go get some toilet paper and ball it up and put spirit gum on your face and just smear that toilet paper right down the middle and then get some of that purple hair color or whatever that is all the craze around Halloween and spray it. And bam, I was Harvey Two Face then. And I loved it. And since then, I'm like, boy, it's a pain in the ass to get toilet paper off your face after it's been off your face. But Kevin and us, we were tight. I mean, they were the guys that would go to a convention and have fun in the lobby and hang out. And then they might show up for the costume contest. Always won. I have a lot of fantastic friends that do Klingon makeup now and things like that. Sorry, folks, I talk a lot about Star Trek. But they would go and they would just be superb. I mean, show quality costumes, makeup, and just thrown together. And I was friends with them for a long time. So we were at a convention. I had a few drinks in me, and it was my younger
Not
days.
you.
Oh yeah. I was not the sophisticated wine drinker. So we had a good time, and I was actually he was not trying to bite my ass. I was trying to fart in his face. But, that's the actual. If you wanted a description of that picture, that's what it was. Failed miserably. The crop duster did not work, and luckily, unfortunately, like being a 54-year-old man now, I didn't crap my pants. So I would not try that anymore nowadays. So enough said about the picture with a guy biting my ass. Let's move on.
Now I'm going to talk about a couple of the other pictures. Now, as you saw, most of them were with you and Lori.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've never seen you guys not smiling when you're around each other.
Um, Lori, it's hard to describe because I don't want to make men or women jealous that might be listening to this show. But or you, because your wife is awesome. But Lori and I have a very unique relationship. It's, and to quote something that Captain Picard said, and to Guinan, it's our relationship is beyond family and beyond friends. It's and beyond love. To have, I had a really good relationship. Cover your ears, Lori, with my first wife, and she was awesome and all that stuff. And because she could be watching, and I still am friends with her. Her kids still call me Uncle Sean. But when I found Lori, I was a broken man. I had nothing. I don't make her act see, but I know what the tip of a pistol tastes like in my mouth. And I'll tell you that. But, Lori saved my life, literally. came in and swooped in like an angel. And I'm not just, even if she wasn't sitting right here to my left, I would still say it, but she saved my life. And when we talk about the show here a little bit, Lori came up with the idea for Syfy Marco. She's the heart and soul of it. And it was things like that. I was financially destroyed. I was losing everything that I owned. I had people living in my house just to help me pay the rent. And you know, I'm not a roommate kind of a guy. And Lori came in, and she was going through a divorce, and met me, and I found out she'd been stalking me for how long? It seemed like a long time. She knew everything about me. Her two children that she had knew all about me, which was kind of, you know, and she told me. And I met her, and she came in, and I was jobless, nothing. I had bought this house with me and my first wife. The mortgage was closing around my neck. I was scraping, literally looking on the couch for pennies. Lori swooped in, saved me, and from that moment on, I knew that Lori wasn't there for money or fame. I wasn't famous. I'm not famous now, but I'm just saying, you know, I'm just trying to fill in the gap here. But and I realized that there is a such thing as a soulmate. I'm sure you and Trish have discovered it with y'all's marriage, but Lori and I, there's no jealousy with other people. Yeah, I get a little pissy when a guy tries to buy her a Rolls Royce or send her flowers. Hey, you know, I'm going to get to drive the Rolls Royce.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's what I'm saying. You know? But she is I don't know how to describe her. She goes to bed every night, and we go to bed early because Lori has to get up early. As a matter of fact, she'll probably scoot off the bed in the middle of the day. But she says, I love you, and I'll just go, I know, not to quote Star Wars, because you know, everybody knows how much I love Star Wars. But
no, that one quotes Star Wars, yeah.
Yep. So that's why I threw that in there. People that are watching, and there are some of my friends watching. Hopefully, Mark LaForest is watching, and Spidey. Anyway, and I said, I know, and I said, I just can't tell you I love you back because what I have and feel for you is on. Oh, isn't this getting so mushy, Steve? I'm sorry, but it's the truth, and that's me and Lori's relationship in a nutshell. I'm happy when I'm with her. Those are not fake smiles. This is a fake smile. But, you know, it's just...
It's a fake smile when he's with me, but with her,
yep.
Okay.
I'm not smiling at you. I'm smiling with you. So.
Okay.
But anyway,
now,
go ahead. I'm listening.
I was going to say, with me and Trish, we've just been together for so long, it's just easier just to put up with each other.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, you know, I'm not around you two enough to get to know your vibe, but from what I have, it's pretty awesome. And I think you and Trish have a lot in common with me and Lori when it comes to the soulmate factor of the relationship.
Well, we've 24 years.
That's great.
I mean, we already know what each other's thinking, which is scary sometimes because she doesn't remember anything, so I have to remember what she's thinking for her.
Pretty much.
Have y'all achieved going to the bathroom with the door open in the house when you're both at
Oh,
home?
that's been with years.
We're still not comfortable with that, so you know.
I'm going to tell you,
Lori takes a bath and just like chokes a whale or something. You
know. The bathroom in our bedroom has it had a door that opened to the inside. Well, there's not enough. You've seen the size of me and Trish. We are not small people.
Yeah, you know.
And you have to go into the shower to shut the door to be able to get onto the toilet.
Wow.
And I know so I just did away. I took the door off the hinges and it's in the garage. There's no door there anymore. So yeah.
You guys, as much as you build stuff and everything, you need to build a big bathroom.
I rent. They would not be happy with that.
Yeah, you know. It's my house, for God's sake. You got all that collectible I see in the background all the time. I just recently expanded. Laura and I had before we had COVID back in July, almost devastated everything again. I missed a month and a half of work. I canceled 2 events because I do entertainment and stuff like that. And we before about what 2 weeks before we had we smashed through my Star Trek collectible. It was July 4th week. We smashed through our Star Trek room, which we had one room that had the big screen television. And it had all my collectibles, but I had 14, 15 boxes of Star Trek stuff that I never opened. I've had them since the 80s. It was all Next Generation. When the Next Generation came out in 87, 86, 87, I bought all those little stupid action figures. And they were in the packages, and they were in boxes. And I told Lori, I said, let's close in the garage. She goes, that's going to cost $10,000, $20,000. I said, well, we have a really good friend, Sandra, who's done carpentry work. She's fantastic. She's good friends with Lori. We had her come over, and I said, give me an idea. And she goes, I'll do it for $2,000, and you buy the supplies. So for under $3,000, I have a new addition to my Star Trek room, which is an old bedroom, and it's all little action figures. So I skewed off your thing is you guys said you rent. When you buy a home, it's all on you, baby. So you knock down a wall and build a bird cage in there or something.
Oh, I know. And I can do all that stuff because that's my background, but it's just one of those that we're deciding our future. Put it that way.
It's easier to rent. It's cheaper because you have a landlord. You can call and say, hey, my toilet is plugged up. I need to send somebody down, and they have to pay for it. No, not with you.
No, I sit there and say, give me the part. I'll fix it myself because I don't trust you guys.
Well, you do that for a living, but a stupid guy like me.
No, not anymore. I do not do that for a living anymore.
Well, you did it for hobby and all of that, so.
I actually.
There's so little, Steve. I don't know about you guys. I mean,
Well, see, here's the thing. Right after the first Olo show this year, I changed careers. At the age of 45 years old, I changed careers after 25 years in the same career. And I'm happier than I've ever been.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the ripe old age of 45.
A ripe old age of 45. See, even my wine bottle is Starfleet. My good friend Eugene Haggerty. I better take the cap off. See, I got less than a half a drink in me, and I'm screwed up. My good friend Eugene, he yells at me because I call him properly. Who does he brings the Cylon Raider to my show and other shows, and he has a Scooby-Doo mystery machine. You've met him a couple times. He gave me that bottle as a gift. I want to send a big shout out. I'm gonna talk about it later. It's just you being a handyman. That's a skill that it's worth more than money is. Like people that weld or costume or carpentry work or plumbing, and that's a skill that not everyone has, and it's more valuable than money. My skill is a shiny head that blinds people. And I have a gift of gab, obviously.
I was gonna say you have the gift of gab. I don't have that like you do.
Years of binge watching before binge watching was cool. Seinfeld, all the sitcoms, Friends, things like that have ruined me. I think because I'm just like boom, boom, boom. And people tell me that all the time. We can't talk like you. I'm like, we can't get up in front of people. God bless Randy, who is my car show coordinator for Syfy. He begs me, don't call me up on stage. He will faint. And he's a big guy. You've met Randy a couple times. And he will faint, and I have to promise him I don't call him up. But he's like, I don't know how you do it. I said, it's easy. I picture myself naked in front of all these people, and that makes things a lot easier. It's not.
Now, see,
don't picture me naked, people. It's horrible. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest. Like Trish is that way. She doesn't ever want to be in front of the camera. I didn't. What 4 years ago, before we started doing the whole show thing, 3 years ago, I never wanted to be in front of the camera either.
Yeah.
Before each show, before each interview, I would be a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it on the show because once the camera come on, it's boom. Let's talk, all that. But I was a nervous wreck. Now 4 years later, it's like, okay, let's get it done. Let's get it over with.
I'll tell you what struck Lori, and she always laughs at me about this. Oh, let me share you real quick. Applause. Here, what's that glasses over?
There we go.
You're drinking something pretty than me. You got something that's it's green. It's green. I'm
Yep.
drinking Sparkly.
I gotta do my shameless plug real quick.
Do it.
Tonight we are doing Apple Smash rum, Captain Morgan rum, courtesy of Total Wine and More. Because one of these days I'm going to get them as a sponsor. I say them every week.
The more got me. When you said more, wine's great, but more got me. I'm a more guy. I don't drink.
Oh man,
very rarely drink beer and all that, but I'm a hard liquor guy. So.
Everybody knows I'm a rum guy. Even people that I don't know I'm a rum guy. I was telling you before the show about that Sugar Skull rum. That was one of Trish's co-workers that went to Cuba and brought it back for me. I've never even met the guy. So it's like I love him because
I have a friend that's Cuban, Monty, and his wife Maria she used to be the president of Main Street Bartow that we do Syfy Bartow for. See how I bridge that. He brought me back some cane. It's called cane rum or something. It's really it's smooth, like you were talking, like that stuff is. He also brought me some of those things that you roll up and smoke that are illegal in the United States too. So I have had a real Cuban cigar. But let me tell you, I want to get back on that story I was telling you about being in front of people and talking to people. Back in the day when our entertainment company, we did a lot of weddings, birthday parties and stuff, which I've kind of backed off a lot of. I still do a lot of car shows, of course, Syfy, and other things. But we had this wedding, and you remember the Cypress Gardens, and it's now Lego Land. You're familiar with that in Winter Haven.
Yeah.
We were set up to do a wedding in the hotel before it was Lego Land, and they used to do live concerts at Cypress Garden. They had like a big the amphitheater or something outside, and I was bringing my equipment in and going upstairs. Came back down. Laura was smoking a cigarette, and there was this group of cowboy-looking rednecks propped up against this wall. Hillbillies, Lori called them. Hope he's not listening. I'm sure he would not listen. Anyway, we're sitting over there smoking a cigarette, and this one guy was real tall. He had a ponytail and really nice-looking guy. And I say that very heterosexual, but I appreciate good-looking men. So I'm like, oh my God! I said, do you know who that is? And she goes, no, who is that? I said, that's the country singer Trace Adkins. And I walked up there and said, she goes, really? I said, yeah. So I immediately reached for my wallet and I pulled out one of my business cards from my business. And I walked straight up to it. I'm like, how's it going? You guys playing here tonight? He goes, we were about to ask you the same thing. He goes, you doing a wedding or something? I said, yes, sir. I said, you're Mr. Adkins. He goes, oh, my friends call me Trey. I said, all right. And he shook my hand and I said, hey, if you guys want to party later or need some music played or whatever, he goes, well, we got to get on the road after this concert because and he took my damn business card and put it in his pocket. Now, he might have thrown it away when he walked away from me, but I walked back over and Lori's mouth is hanging open she can't believe he just went up and pitched business with Trace Adkins. And this is when his heyday, when Trace Adkins was really, he still is, but, back in the day, this is years ago. And she goes, how do you do that? I said, actors and musicians are people just like us. They drink, they go to the bathroom, they probably don't keep the door open when they're taking a poop or something. So and I do that. I have that way, and it's just. I'll give you a recent example, and we can bridge it into something for Syfy that's was a very popular show. People listen and steal my ideas because I'm just some simple country bartender boy who plans things. But anyway, I digress. I went to a really awesome little show. We never go to conventions anymore because we don't have time. We have adulting to do. Laura and I both have kind of management type jobs in a roundabout way. So we went down to the Suncoast Fan Fest. It was in Bradenton. And there were two people from two Stargate programs, and we love Stargate as much as we love almost as much as we love Star Trek. And I said, let's go down there. And I'd met a friend online that comes to Syfy Bartow, and he graciously gave us free passes to the event, VIP, all the bells and whistles I didn't ask for. So we get there, and I'm walking around, and Rick Stanford, the real Aquaman, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was there, and I've known him for years. He's been at Syfy Bartow. He was walking around with this gorgeous young lady, and I walk up to him, and I'm like, I know you. And she goes, I'm a Tina Finger. I said, of the Batman fame? Because I didn't know, because I read comics and stuff, and I like Batman. And she goes, yeah, because that Bill Finger was her grandfather. And I'm like, I remember the name. I had to do research, and because I'm not all up on a lot of things. And I just absolutely thought she was awesome. And I invited her to Syfy Bartow, and guess what? She's coming as a guest. So
That's awesome.
I'm really excited about it. I know, it's like, to me, it's because I don't do the guest thing at Syfy Bartow. And, because it's not about that. It's about the artists, the cosplayers, the costumers, in my little town, doing a fundraiser for the Main Street area. So she's coming, and I'm going to pull out the red carpet for her because, I've had Butch Patrick a couple years ago, which is Eddie Munster from the Munsters. He was a friend of mine, Dr. Paul Vera, the guy that cosplays him and does his show now. He's a friend of mine. He's like, hey, Butch wants to come to your show. I'm like, who the hell is Butch? Butch Patrick. I mean, you mean like the Munsters, Eddie Munster, the little vampire guy, werewolf, carry a little werewolf dog? Yeah. He came, and it's like, he came. They told me this 2 days before Syfy Bartow, so I couldn't really do a lot of bells and whistles. But I did everything in my power to let everybody know that man was on the show. I was proud for it. So there are a lot of local celebrities that live in Florida that don't mind driving. You don't have to fly in. And some of them, I met at that Suncoast Fan Fest, along with Tina, I met Manu. How do you say his last name, Lori? And some of them foreign. But he played a Borg kid on Star Trek Voyager. He was in like 8 episodes towards the last season, next to the last season. And he was a Borg that was reinstituted back in the beginning. And don't give me words.
Interini.
Are you saying that right?
Interini.
All right, Interini. That's his last name. Tonight's segment of Drinking with OCD is sponsored by Lori. Who I wouldn't. Anyway, so Manu. I met him, and he had heard from someone from California, and it was like one of these Ichev. He played Ichev the Borg on the show, and he was like 7 of 9 size kid. So he said, "Yeah, I've heard of Syfy Bartow," and I'm like, "I'm honored." He goes, "Well, I just heard it from a guy that's standing next to you." Anyway, I digress. And he wanted to come to Syfy Bartow, and he was reasonable, but I don't think Syfy Bartow is ready for the Hollywood types yet. Because when Laura and I invented Syfy Bartow, I didn't want to have guests. I wanted it to be about, when you go to one of these big box conventions that happen in Orlando and other places, they pushed all the artists into a corner.
But that big box does not mean Olo. Olo is a good one in Orlando.
No, you're in our game. You're in our game. So, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. The cosplayers I wanted to cater to those people, and that's the real reason why Syfy Bartow happened. Listen to me, I'm going to tell you a secret. Hold on, let me get really close. Syfy Bartow is not about making money or trying to upheaval anybody or try to make somebody look bad. Syfy Bartow is about a small town community that needs help business wise, and it's for the cosplayers and the artists and the authors. You're welcome, Mark Muncy. You know, so okay, you can back off of me now. Sorry. Oh, I like you, but no, seriously, that's what Syfy Bartow is about. And I laugh all the time when people compare Syfy Bartow to other shows because we're not like any of the other shows.
No,
You a fabulous show. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to tell you when we describe Syfy Bartow, because we always talk about Syfy Bartow. That's one of our top conventions, top 3 conventions that we tell everybody is a must. But we say Bartow is not a convention; it's a block party. That's 5 blocks long.
Yeah.
And I think now it's 10 blocks long.
10 now. It's 10 now.
Yep. See.
But you know, and that's when Laura and I, Syfy Bartow was a joke when we created it. We were on Facebook at the time, and Facebook was all the thing when all the youngsters were on it, not us old people. And someone posted a question, really, really good friend of mine. Her name is Trish Pfeiffer. She's in the mayor of Bartow. She's a Bartow commissioner. She's running for Bartow Commission again. But she posted on Facebook, we need more, because Bartow always had these events that were artsy-fartsy, hoity-toity. Bloomin' Arts Festival, great show. I love it. They have a honeybee festival, which is called the Fall Festival, and they do all these other little shows. And I'm like, they wanted something fresh and different. So, and she posted on Facebook. You wanted me to tell the story of how Syfy got created. Is that okay if I do that?
Yeah. This is your story.
Oh, so a long time ago in a galaxy not so far away. Anyway, she posted on Facebook. She says, "We need some fresh ideas for Main Street Bartow." I said, "Okay." So I told Laura, because she's sitting there, because we're all about the internet, this Facebook thing and all. I said, "Watch this." I said, I just commented, and let's do a science fiction Star Trek type convention in Bartow. Not even 5 minutes, I was contacted by Trish. "Okay, that sounds great. Let's come in and talk about it." I'm like, and I looked at Laura and I said, "Oh shit, what have I done?" And because I've always worked for conventions, I've worked with Joe Moat with Volcon. I was the entertainment guy. I was the guy that did the silly games and the panels and all that. I was trained and taught by the best. And I've made some great friends. So I said, all right. So I went down and I went to the Circle. I got off work. I went to the Circle K and bought me a 6-pack of Smirnoff Ice. Oh, you and your Smirnoff Ices. So I went down to Trish Pfeiffer's office, and another great lady named Jen Daniels was there. And they said, let's talk about this. And by the end of that conversation, I'd given them each a Smirnoff. And they were lightweights. Sorry, Trish. Not you, Trish. My Trish. But
I understand.
You understand?
Well, this Trish is a lightweight too.
Yes, I am.
She's a very big lightweight.
She drinks so much her hair turns blue. So I want that in my head. But anyway, by the end of that conversation, Syfy Bartow was a go. I went back and Laura and I discussed it. I said the only way I'm gonna be able to pull this off is if I get the band back together, which was all my buddies from Volcon. And there she is. And she said, yeah, we got to do that. So they gave me one block. There was one block, and you've been to Syfy, you know where that block is where the grass is in the center of the lot there, and it's where I usually put everything around. But and they gave me that block, and I filled it. I got a guy that I went to high school with that built a life-size TARDIS from Doctor Who to specifics. I mean, he had the blueprint. It was the size of the actual filming TARDIS. And he lived in Bartow, and I went to high school with him. I didn't even know he was a Doctor Who fan because I hadn't seen him since high school. And I talked him into bringing it to Syfy Bartow, and I got, who else did we have? So long ago. I got people together that I never thought would come, and about, I'm going to say about 20. I had 40 vendors off the bat. I had 2 authors. I had what is the guy that does the comic book called? It's about his. No, not. I had Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon came, but I had, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name because he's probably watching this show. You have, I think you've met him before. But he does a comic book about his daughter getting mutated with a roach, and it's called Roach.
John Crowther.
John Crowther. He was one of my guests, and I got his comic book, or helped get his comic book into the local store, comic book store later. And but I had him, and I was like, wow, this was great. And I had almost 2,800 people. And they always say, how do you keep up with people and counting how many guests you have? He has passed away now. I can say this, but I had a really good friend that was like Rain Man from Savant. Really smart. You know, if you drop toothpicks, he could tell you how many toothpicks you dropped. But he was really smart. He kept numbers. And I had two friends that were like this. So I invited them. They're science fiction fans. I'm not naming names. But they came and they said, what do you want us to do? I said, and I didn't introduce them to each other. They didn't know each other. I said, I went to one of them. I said, I want you to stay on this end of the thing all day long. And I want you to go down the street up and down until the show's over and tell me how many people are here. I'm talking guests, vendors, children, passersby. So I went to the other end, the east end of Main Street. I started him on the west end. I told my other friends the same thing. And I said, what's your accuracy for this? He goes, within 100 people. And they both told me that because these guys are rocket scientists, in my opinion. And by the end of the day, they said, you had 2,754 people there. I'm like, and the other one said that I had 2,685 people. That's a really good margin of error. So for the next 4 sci-fi bartenders, I had them doing this to where they couldn't do it anymore because there was too many people. So we've estimated from that and other drone footage and other things, even the powers that be in Bartow can't believe me, or they don't want to believe me, or they're skeptical. I have an average of 20 to 28,000 people that come to Syfy Bartow now, and I think that's phenomenal for a little town that don't even have that many people in their city limits. And I have people all the time that are still skeptical. They're in the cosplay world, and MegaCon attracts, or I'm sorry, that big box convention attracts so many people and hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm like, I'm just a little outside street fair, and I'm bringing in this many people, and I'm just 9 years or 7 years into doing this. And they're like, oh, no, skeptical. And that's fine. You can be skeptical all you want. I see the numbers. I see the people that come in. I have businesses in Bartow, which we're doing this for, like Bedrock Wings on Main Street, one of my main sponsors. They sell out of food every Syfy Bartow, and they've tried to add more and more and more. And they're phenomenal. I have the Hacienda Mexico restaurant, same way.
Oh,
I love that place.
Yes,
that's one of when we're there, down there.
Maria and them are really awesome. And other places. We have a brewery now in Bartow, and she was opened up the week that COVID really hit 2 years ago, and they had to shut down. But I talked to her, and she's all involved with us now. She wanted me to put part of the car show in front of the brewery because it increased their business. This is a thing, Steve, that you got, and you're learning this yourself in your show, which is phenomenal, by the way. You have to gain trust with people, and you have to look through the skepticism, and you have to look through the people that are not playing nice, and the naysayers, and the people that want to book things the same weekend as your event. Have faith in your people. Have faith in your vendors. You know, Syfy Bartow is my Robin Hood. It's my Sherwood Forest. I don't charge a lot for vendor fees. I mean that Lori, who takes care of all the vendors, she tells them, they go, how much is it? And she says, and she goes, really? I said, yeah. She goes, well, I want 3 spots for that price. And in all that every single penny of money that is collected from vendors at Syfy Bartow goes to Main Street Bartow Incorporated, which helps the local businesses get signage, help pay the power bill if they're struggling, helps them with other financial things. And beautification, painting, signage, whatever. That's what Syfy Bartow is about. There's no evil master promoter that's getting all this money from doors, all this, and wants to show but that I'm the best and the biggest. I'm not. I'm a small fry. And, it's always that burr under the saddle that gets the horse running. I'm that burr. I don't want anything. I don't want a handshake. I don't want a pat on the back. I love this town that I live in. It's small. It's known for, we have a lot of bail bondsmen here. The county jail is here. The sheriff's department is a big part of this town. There's a giant courthouse bigger than any building, and probably
Beautiful.
parts of Lakeland. Do what?
I said I like the courthouse.
I love it too. I like it. I'm not talking about the historic courthouse. I'm talking about the big giant one that has the parking garage, which said, "Oh, by the way, Sean, you can use our parking garage for free. We can hold 300 cars in there." I'm like, "Thank you." So they waived their fee. I'm making a difference in a small town. I'm not just popping up in Tampa or Lakeland or South Florida or anything like that doing a show. I'm making a difference in my town. So, and I'm not knocking anyone. I love shows. I'll go to them. I went to a toy show a couple weeks ago at the state fairgrounds. And I dropped $1,000 with their vendors. I'm sure that I was in 10 minutes. I'm not kidding you. And they loved me. Half of them were Syfy Bartow vendors, but I spent a. They tried to give me a discount. What's our buddy that has the toy thing? Gunter? Daryl Gunter, you know him.
Oh, you mean Daryl, who says, "Hello, everybody, the party can
You
start."
put it right now.
Daryl is here.
Daryl's right there. Daryl offered to sell me this Playmate. Is that what it is? A Star Trek model kit that's come out of. It's not Legos, but it's something like Legos. And I'm scared of building stuff because I'm not good at it, and I didn't want to tell Daryl this. I'm telling you now, Daryl. I'm going to buy that thing because Lori told me you're going to come to Syfy Bartow in February, and you're to give up your big gig in New York. See, I'm making an effect on New York, and I ain't even trying. But he dropped it down. I said, "Dude, you're here to make money. Make it on me, because I want my $65 for your vendor fee when you come to my show. You want $500 for this thing, Hey, Daryl, I don't want to pay $500. I'm just kidding him. He's a great guy. I have multiple cool things in my Star Trek collection. I met him at a flea market one time, and he had stuff that I'm like, damn, I like this guy. And that's how we invited him to Syfy Bartow. We market. That's how we market. The way you market people is you go up to Trace Adkins when he's smoking a cigarette in a shithole hotel and say, "Hey, you need a DJ for night." That's how you market. You don't go and undermine anybody's other little thing. You got to do it. Be a good business person. Be a good business person. I don't go to that big convention in Orlando that happens once a year and go and recruit people because they come and talk to me. They'll come to me and say, "Hey, are you Syfy Sean and you do Syfy Bartow?" I'm like, "Yeah." "How do you know?" "Well, the guys at OCD talk all about you all the time, So I use that on the good side because I need you. You guys are great promotion for us, But all joking aside, you gotta play. You gotta play nice. There's plenty of room for businessmen and car salesmen and all that. This real used car salesman stuff. But this Syfy Bartow is heart and soul for me. I could wake up tomorrow and say, this is my last show. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I've done that how many times? At least 9 times. And we're celebrating 9 years in February the 19th in downtown Bartow. But it's I don't like the word promoter. I'm a host. I'm an entertainment coordinator, and that's what I do. And I watch my hands, sorry. But in this wine glass. But
I was gonna say, I've been sitting here watching him just fingering his wine glass.
It's like Dr. Evil. But anyway,
That's
I don't
what I
want
was
to be
thinking.
yeah, right here. I got the haircut too. I don't have a mini me. Well, I guess Kitty, my dog, would be my mini me.
I was gonna
Anyway.
say Kitty's your mini me.
Yeah, she is. Anyway, it's just I love what I do. And when I don't have fun doing it anymore, I'm not going to do it anymore. Because, there's it's a dime a dozen for people that want to throw these shows together and stuff. And I get it, but I'm not desperate for money. And I'm beyond that. And that's why Syfy Bartow is always free to attend, and my vendor fee will be low. And if you want to be at my show and you're not selling or making a profit, I'll give you a table for free. Just like if you guys want to come and promote y'all's show and you weren't selling anything, it's free. And it isn't just because I'm friends with y'all. It's the way that I work it, because there is so much of people taking advantage of people in this world, especially nowadays. I don't want, and I didn't create Syfy Bartow as a money maker. I created it as hey, let's go to this little town in the middle of nowhere. And, events like that happen all over the United States. There's a damn town, I forget where it's at, that does a rowboat competition, but you have to build the rowboat out of duct tape and cardboard boxes. Whoever makes it across the little river or little lake is the winner, and that town has become famous to it. So famous that I can't remember the name of it right now, but, and that's what I want, and that's what Syfy Bartow is to me, and will always be. It's just, I love it. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. It's for the cosplayers. It's for the authors. It's for Mark Muncy. It's for Steve Altair. It's for Daryl Gunter, and it's for people like that like, I don't want to pay $500-600 for a damn table, and at the end of the day, we've lost everything. You come to Syfy Bartow, pay $65, $20 if you want power extra, and at the end of the day, they've sold 3 things. And like, oh my God, Steve, I literally had people walk up to me, even as this year's show. I said, how did you do? And they go, they pull out a wad of cash that's this big. And I'm like, that could choke a horse. He goes, an elephant is what we were thinking. 3 years ago, we had a guy that came and got with Lori and said, I got all these old G.I. Joe guys, the old stuff. Remember when he had like the afro and the tight beard and all that stuff? He had stuff like that. He had some newer G.I. Joe toys. He set up, and 11 o'clock rolled around, and 12 o'clock rolled around, and Lori went by, and after she checked all the vendors in and checked on her vendors, and the guy was folding his table up, and she goes, no, you can't leave. You got to stay here till 6. That's the rule. He goes, I had a guy come by and drop everything he had, and I don't have anything to sell anymore. That's happened multiple times inside my bar.
Oh, yes. We've seen it.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear people enjoying. Yeah, it's an outside thing, and it might drizzle or rain. What are you going to melt? Or do you want to make $500 in a 5-hour day?
But here's the thing: the crowd stays through the rain.
Mm-hmm.
We've witnessed it.
Yes, I have too.
They might run in and go into one of the restaurants, which is good for the restaurants or whatnot. But once it subsides, the little bit of drizzle, they're right back out there.
I have, and I won't give her last name, but she's a big steampunk enthusiast. She's been to almost every one of my shows. Her name is Anna, and she fell in love with Bartow. She's a Tampanite, and she's from Washington State and all that. Her family's up there. I know I'm married, and I'm sorry, Anna, if I'm embarrassing you, but I'm proud of her. She's become a friend of mine, and we DJ'd a car show this past Saturday at the Fall Festival, which is in downtown Bartow. And here she comes, bebopping up there. She's come and dropped in on us at our house and everything, and everybody knows how I am about people dropping into my house. Call first. She's welcome. I call her my sister. I met her because of Syfy Bartow. I became friends with Randy that does my car show. He came to me at Syfy 1 and said, hey, I'm into cars and stuff. I said, the only cars I want is if it's a DeLorean or it's got stickers on it that say I look like a shuttlecraft or whatever. And now the car show attracts almost more people than the actual event does. And now you know what? What I've discovered? Don't steal my idea. Don't steal my ideas.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I still get the invite every year from Randy for the car show.
Yep. Because you got a Punisher mobile. And but here's the whole damn thing. Even at this little toy show I went to at the fairgrounds a couple weeks ago, he had 3 of my regulars' cars parked in front of it. So I am making a difference. I'm having people going, hey, this goofy, bald-headed guy that talks way too much from this hick town in the middle of Central Florida is making a difference. I'm going to borrow his idea, and I'm good with it. I don't want a royalty check. I don't want anything. I just want people to have fun. So I walked up there to my guy and I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? He goes, talking about Syfy Bartow. So no, and I'm serious. He had my cards on his car and everything. It was hilarious. I'm like, and Lori walked away like, wow.
That's because anybody that goes to Bartow can't not talk about Bartow.
Exactly.
They can't. It's free. I don't have. I think the only complaint I had on, and I watched that stuff. It was on Facebook. It was a year and a half ago. Why don't y'all do something themed? Because we have a theme every year. This year's Galaxies Far, Far Away, and it has nothing to do with that movie that has a similar tagline to it. But it's a Star Wars show. Anyway, they like, why don't you do something other than outer space? I said, you mean like maybe Harry Potter or Godzilla or time travel or superheroes? I'm like, I've done it all. They removed their post immediately. That was the only complaint I've ever had. How can you complain about something that you're getting for free? Free entertainment, a free art show with great artists like Josh Bauer, a great car show with like the anime cars of the world. They bring like 8 or 9 cars. My good friend Romeo, he's awesome. You've got the Apocavic there, which is the Crown Victoria. Nicholas, he brings that every year, and it wins first place in the car show every year. You can't, and you got a costume contest. And guess what? I'm doing a Miss Syfy Bartow contest pageant for the first time this year. A friend of mine that regulars that big box show up in Georgia around Labor Day weekend has been in their contest for many years. And she said, hey, can I bring this to Syfy Bartow? I said, what do you need? And we have 6 contestants right now. We're looking for 10. So if you got what it takes to be Miss, and when I use the word Miss, I'm being politically correct. I have a gentleman in the contest as well right now. We don't discriminate at Syfy Bartow, and it's gender neutral. But you know me, I'm not a PC guy, but I love people. I don't care what race, gender, or whatever. I love all people. There is good in every person on this planet. You just have to find it. Look at the Dark Vader guy from that movie. He was a good guy. Is it Darth Vader? Is that how you say that? Darth Vader?
Darth, yeah.
And Louis Skywalker, something like that, in that movie. And Bobby Fetty.
Those Star Trek people, man.
You're on point.
Am I on point? Anyway, we love everybody. And, I get in arguments between what is better, Star Trek or that other movie series. But, and everybody's right. But I love it. I love all science fiction. I watch Doctor Who. I watch Farscape. Yeah, older shows.
Oh, I love Farscape.
Farscape
I love
is great.
that.
I love that. I had a friend putting that on me. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. I'm going to share this on the internet to people and all this stuff. I'm scared of puppets. Spiders, Lori can't stand. Clowns, some people can't handle. I can't stand puppets or muppets. They scare the shit out of me. And you put a picture up there of my friend that has one of them Charlie McCartney dolls, and that was a big deal for me. That was like an intervention that Lori was having with me. Like, you got to get used to it, because I am scared. I will run. I don't like puppets. Even people have them little lines drawn down their mouth when they're doing cosplay and stuff. I can't handle it. Annabelle, that scary movie about that little walking around puppet. No. And you know what my freaking wife's got from her childhood? Sitting on my other secondary bedroom, which my friends come over and sleep on when you call first. Call first. Mrs. Beasley from A Family Affair. True to life, Mrs. Beasley. Remember that show? Would you put that down? Where's the pie? Yell there. That Grover. Yeah, I'm frozen with fear right now.
Yeah.
Thanks for the I'm gonna get you. It's on. It's on now. Don't let me find out nothing about you, boy. I'll take care of it. Anyway, Syfy Bartow, we invented for everybody. It isn't just. It isn't. I don't want to make money off of it. I mean, yeah, Main Street pays us a little bit of a fee. With it, I buy entertainment for the Friday night kickoff show, hotel rooms for people that have traveled from South Florida, the Panhandle, Jacksonville. I help them with if they help us. One of my best friends, Denny Prime, he comes and he MCs and does my music. If I can't get Dizzy out of Georgia, which Dizzy has worked with me at Old for many years, I have him as my MC. I put them up in the hotel. I give them money. I'll give them gas money. I feed them. I have a big breakfast thing on Sunday, and I bring everyone in that's helped me. And I said, just come in for 5 minutes, have a sandwich. I used to have my sister-in-law open up her restaurant. It's her 60th birthday on Syfy Bartow weekend, and she's one of our biggest sponsors. And and shameless plug, SNL restaurant. Lori's the head waitress there. I don't like.
And we gotta try that place because I see you guys showcasing it all the time.
I won't lie to you; it's the best hamburger on planet Earth. And if you try it, she has a thing called an Ultimate Club, and I'm telling you, dude, it's that thick with me. I have to Sean emulating eating a big sandwich, but try it. But she would feed my friends that helped me, and we would tip her and her waitress that she would have come in on a Sunday, and she's closed on Sundays. And it's the only day she takes off, the only day she's closed. So
closed on Sundays. That's our cheat day.
I know, right?
Sunday's your cheat day. Every day.
Yeah, because hey, we since the last time you saw us, we've lost a lot of weight, but we do. It's called, actually, we call it cheat day, but it's reload day where you reload your carbs up for the week, and that's Sunday. So
that's cool. But and that's what I do with my money that Main Street Incorporated gives me is I put it right back into the city, and I do that. I don't even want to say I break even with Syfy Bartow. I lose my ass with Syfy Bartow. But it's not about the money. I mean, I'm not trying to make a living.
It's about the love.
Yeah, it's about the love for this town that I live in, and it will always be that way. I have met, like I said before, I've met some great people, and I made some great connections. And you say a lot of people talk kindly about us, and you guys are out and about. And that's what I want. They don't know me from Adam. And it's like I like that, and it's like, wow, I've made a difference. That's the whole thing. I've the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the Sean, and that's what I want with this whole situation. And when I get tired of it, and someone thinks they can do it better, I'll graciously back out and go on with that stuff and come up with another idea that people will emulate. And that's what I love, because they say that what's that saying? If you copy someone, it's the highest form of flattery.
Yeah, but it's still kind of,
you're flattering me.
It's one of those that, and I hear that a lot because on a lot of stuff we do with Orlando Collector Deviants, when I do something, a month or two down the line, I see somebody else start doing it.
Yeah.
And everybody tells you, oh man, that's a great form of complimentary. I'm like, but it still pisses me off just a little bit. I understand I'm doing something good enough that somebody wants to copy, and that's great. But it's like, come up with your own idea, because it made me come up with my own idea,
Steve and Trish, I'm going to tell you about this that I've learned over the years. Without getting into a lot of personal stuff about me and all that, but we are the black sheep of our family and our local people. I know that's hard for you to believe, but I just want you to remember, I get pissed off when people copy what we do or try to one-up us or whatever, but those are small-minded people, and they don't see the big picture. They don't think outside of the taco box. They're eating, walking down the street, and they don't see it. They just see the Benjamins and the Lincolns and the Washingtons. It isn't, and that's the thing. that a lot of these other shows and stuff that are not, there are a lot of good people that do shows, and I'm not knocking anybody about you or anybody, but come up with your own ideas, people. I mean, don't ride on Sean's skirts. Don't ride on big box skirts or shirts or capes or whatever. Come up with your own thing, because there are so many ideas out there that you don't have to be Mr. Hollywood and remake every Star Trek series in your own image or anything like that. You have got to come up with your own ideas. And you guys have done it with the show that you're doing, because we went to your show. I don't drive that far. I mean, I do not like the area that you guys live in and all that because of the traffic. And I'm a small town boy. I'm used to passing cattle trailers and tractors and shit like that. You know, when I have to go up there with like speed demons that are racing down the I-4 and whatever. And when we came to your show, we went through a toll road that took us way out in the middle of the neutral zone, and it was great. I didn't mind paying that like $80 million to come to your show, to spend $80 million. I spent a lot of money at your show too, and it's really the only thing that's pissed me off about your show is it's the weekend before Syfy this year, because that's like the second busiest weekend.
And you already know. You already know we did not want to be anywhere close. I mean, within 2 weeks. But it was all of a sudden, you know how it is. All of a sudden, the world opened back up and everybody took all the dates. And it's like, even a year ahead of time, we were fighting for a date. I actually wanted it on Saturday. I didn't want another Sunday show. I like Saturday shows myself.
Yeah.
So
I have been pushed by so many people that want me to make Syfy Bartow a 2-day show. But the city of Bartow will not allow it because, their workers might have to work an extra day, might have to pay some overtime. And I get it. I'm not knocking anybody listening to the city of Bartow. What I'm looking at here is not. It's Playmobil, by the way. Thank you, Daryl, for that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go through the comments. So.
I got you back up here. I got my cell phone biatch, and I'm watching this stuff. So, see, I'm stealing ideas from your show right now. So, I have a podcast. So, it sucks, but, I got it. I hate doing it because I don't like commitment. Randy, my car show guy, loves it. And he was like, hey, I want to come over and do that. I'm like, nah.
But we have internet now.
But we just got internet. I'm Mr. Star Trekky, and I hate technology. And Lori finally, after 19 years, 18? How long have we been together? Ooh, I'm in trouble now. She finally got me to get internet. I never had internet at my house. And she said, I'm getting the damn internet. She doesn't sound like that. She doesn't sound like that. Just say
it.
Yeah, we're getting the internet. So we got it, and I love it. My TV's never off, and I'm getting fatter, and Leon's getting larger. But it's just, I love it. So I got internet now, and Randy's like, you got internet now. We can get into that. I'm like, So we started this podcast. I'll tell you about it. It's called Talking Syfy. And I came up with a name, and Randy, he backed me on it and everything. And he's like, so I started talking about stuff, because I didn't know how podcasts work. And I'm like, hey, let's talk about something. Let's talk about Space 1999 that happened 10 million years ago before you were born. It's not a podcast. He calls it. We're on the YouTube.
It's a video blog.
It's a video blog, and but he does it a vocal.
Yeah, but see, we're on YouTube right now too. We're on Twitch, we're on Facebook and YouTube all at the same time.
I'm sure that we are as well, but no one watched our show. And he's like, "Oh, our numbers have grown by 3." I'm like, "Well, that means I got my mom to listen."
You're special. We can't even get my mom to watch.
My friend Mark LaForce, he's like one of our biggest callers. He wants my autograph and stuff. He helps me with Syfy. But I would talk about this old crap, and he's like, no, we got to talk about the trailer that just came out for the Godzilla movie, Godzilla versus King Kong. We got to talk about that. Excuse me, no COVID. I said, all right. So we started talking about that, and by God, our numbers did go up, and and then I have so much, not that I'm Mr. Man of the world or anything, but I have a job that I have to concentrate on a day job, a Clark Kent job. And I come home, it's strenuous on me. sometimes stressful, not much, but I love it. It's the best job I've ever had in my life. I love getting up to work. Um, I love doing what I do for these people. And when I come home, I just want to take a shower, crash out. If you're Lori bitching about her job, because I don't bitch about my job, because I don't have the strenuous that she does. And I love it. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. I said, please talk about it, because I'm in a truck all day by myself, and I'm having to talk to myself and listen to talk radio and stuff. But I don't want to do a podcast, Randy. I do, and don't feel it. I know you're listening. I hope you are. I promise. But it's fun, and when I get done with it, because it's just like this. I'm doing most of the talking, and Randy's just deer in the headlights. He has his computer.
Watching Q on the wall.
Yeah, he thinks Q is the bad Chinese guy from what's that movie? Little China and Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. Low Can. He's like, why do you got Low Can here? I'm like, it's fucking Q from Star Trek.
And Q is the awesomest from.
He does kind of look
Generation.
like it. Hello, Randy. I'm Q from the Q Continuum. I'm not Lopez. That is a meal you buy at a Chinese restaurant. All right, so I'm sorry. I'm not being racist. I'm just being honest. So, and it's fun. And I make Lori. She'll laugh in the background. I'm like, and Lori's like, we were talking about her earlier. It puts fuel on my fire. You know, I've had other podcast people on the show. My good friend Kyle Deuce. He does. What is his show called?
He does Happy Hour with Johnny and
Happy
Deuce.
Hour with Johnny and Deuce. He's been on our show, and God love him, and I love him, and I would take a bullet for that man because he was great. But all he did was promote his show, and I'm like, what are you doing that for? No, let me show Steve, see what he thinks. Lori just handed me my Guinan doll, and her pants are down, but she's sitting next to the Q doll, and why is
show me where he's touched you.
You're wrong.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
See, I got Lori to laugh.
I love Lori. She's distracted. So it's just I want to do it. I laugh and I have fun, but I'm just like, it's not a waste of time. I was talking about Deuce coming on. He's like promoting his show, and I love that. And he goes, "We're the #1 podcast in Polk County," and blah blah blah. I said, "Well, the #2 podcast loves you." So, and hold on. But anyway, I love him. Him and Johnny are awesome, and they've done a podcast. What is the other Hanging with the Web? Garrett brings Hanging with the Web to Syfy, and he sets up, and he and Sage, they're great people. They're the only podcast that I allow at the show now because they always are consistent. I'll let Johnny and Deuce be there, but this whole COVID thing has changed a lot of people's attitudes and stuff about conventions and stuff. I don't want to call my show a convention. It's not. But, they're all welcome. Everyone's welcome. I don't care if you do stick people drawings, jump into a wormhole, and you think you can sell it for 50 cents. You can be a vendor. I just want a sci-fi related thing. And, podcast, I got a guy called me. His name is Daniel, and they do a podcast about vets, and he dresses up in a steampunk costume, and he wants to try Syfy Barco this year. Absolutely fantastic. He doesn't care, and because that's what Syfy Barco is about. It's for everybody, and I said, try it. If you don't like it, he's not making money, but he offered to pay because every single penny of money that my vendors pay goes right back into Main Street Barco to help businesses and everything, and that's what I like about what I do for them. It's not about stuff in my pockets full, and it's just about I'm lucky if I even eat today. Hey, this guy wants to buy you a meal because I said he had an awesome shirt. It had the original Mecha Godzilla head on it. I'm like, I love that shirt. I love Godzilla, and he bought us a meal, and I'm like, was it Bedrock? Because that's one of my favorite places to eat. All that. Now, go ahead.
Now there's one vendor there that Trish hates that you have there every year? There is.
Is it the prostitute?
No, she's fine with
there's
that. She gets upset that you have the animal shelter there because I always come this close to taking another dog home.
They're coming back this year. They adopt out every animal. It's the our local sheriff for Polk County, Grady Judd, them. They own. They're in control of the animal shelter here, and that it's Polk County Animal Control. Every year they come, I give them a free spot, and those animals are gone within probably 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I do that
every year. I am there looking at Trish with puppy dog eyes. She's like, "No, we already have 3."
I didn't. If Lori's taken our little chihuahua out, Kitty, to go to the restroom, the bathroom, pee poo as we call it, and I've almost adopted an animal by her going there. I don't. We've had a bad run in the last 2 years of our animals going to the Great Rainbow Bridge. You know what I mean? And it's hurt. I was a cat person. I never had dogs until I met Lori. We adopted Kitty. I mean, she was the palm of my hand, and now she's 9.5 pounds. She's 10 now, and Lori looks at me. He's like, "I'm so glad we didn't have children together." I'm like, "Why?" Because you'd have the most spoiled, rotten little brat in the entire universe, like most millennials are now. I'd probably have one of those that hated their dad. I want, give, and she'd be driving a better car than me and all that stuff. She goes, "I got a wife." Well, let me name why, Sean, because your dog has three different colored pet strollers and styles. Kitty has more clothes than she does. She's got all types of water dishes that are electronic and stainless steel, and she eats like a queen. And so after all this is said, something comes in on Amazon. It was Chewy.com. Sorry, shameless plug. I love Chewy.com. If you guys ever have a pet or whatever, Chewy.com is the way to go. I got to get them as a sponsor or something, so I can spend that money on somebody else. Anyway, she said, here's an early Christmas present. I'm like, no. I open up, you know what it is? It's a freaking little, like a GoPro camera. She got me 2 of them for the house, for the pets. You could talk to your dog through it and all that. So I'm like, so you're bitching at me. My wife's not a bitch, but she's bitching. She's not in there right now. Yeah. And you're buying me cameras for the dog. She goes, yeah. And you know what? I installed them and we uploaded them to our phone. Not even 4 days ago. I constantly am talking to Kitty when I'm on the road. And she'll lift her ear up and look at me. She always lays in the same spot while she's working. So that's why the true reason I don't have children. I'm gonna get personal for a minute when we're talking about kids. We lost our son. I called him our son. He was Lori's son. And my stepson. He lived with us for many years. This past August was a year ago. We lost him to a really tragic car accident, and he was a great young man, and I love him very much. I still do. He chose to live with his stepfather or his real dad, and I get it. But when he had that car wreck, it really put me over in a new mindset. We were really shut in. We didn't decorate for Christmas. Did the Halloween, I did a big Halloween thing in my house. And he was a organ donor. I'm not sure. Just for the but and I've never had experience with that, but I was always skeptical about people who are organ donors. If you weren't, I'm not plugging it for you. It's just like the vaccine. If you want it, you do it. If you don't do it. If you want to be an organ donor, do it. If you don't do it. But he was. And I'm going to tell you something. That was the most enjoyable, if you could add a word like that to the death of a child situation, because they treated us like royalty. And it was all about Tristan. And he when he had his accident, he was brain dead, and he was still alive. So, and I'm sorry for getting personal, you guys, because I know that Curtis, you're listening, and I know it's hard on you too. But it was a great experience. And they did this whole thing when they were taking him out of the room and taking him off the respirator to go get the operation and moving the organs and stuff. They open up the door, and you know that scene in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, I always go back to that, where they open up and they're wheeling Spock's body down in the photon torpedo tube, and all the crews are lining the walls, and they're playing the Scotty's playing the bagpipes with amazing grace, and it was that scene, and there were hundreds of people lining the wall with all the nurses, doctors, the lady that does the accounting, and it was everyone all the way down this walkway. We got to walk with them down there, and I went to him before they went in there. I said, I've never told him this when he was alive. And I did. I went up to him and I did the Vulcan lines on his head, and I said, I have been, what shall be your friend. And the place with just tears started flowing. That was my bonding, and I've known that kid for as long as I've known Lori, and I felt really bad about it that I had. You always, hindsight is always the thing you think about, of like what you do when someone passes away. You can't be prepared for it. And people who listen have family or friends or whatever that pass away, and I've had a lot of family and friends pass away since this COVID situation. And I lay there in bed at night, and I think I could hear him in my head, and I'll wake up and Lori said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I had a dream about my Uncle Donald, who I was estranged from because of a family situation, and I swear to God, he came and talked to me in my dream. I mean, it was like me and you talking right now. I'm gonna get off this depressing stuff. My moral of this story is, organ donating is awesome, and Star Trek II is awesome. So I'm pulling us out of the pit of doom. I'm sorry. Back to Syfy. I love my life, and I love everything about it. Oh, I gotta give you. You gotta remind me to take one of Tristan, that story's son. Tristan was his name. One of his comic books, because he wrote a short story while he was living with us. It was about him being a superhero, and his name was Danica. That was a superhero name. And we found it a month after he passed away. We were cleaning out his bedroom, which is ironically the room we're sitting in right now, because I made it into my Star Trek room, other Star Trek room. And we read it, and it was so weird because he was writing about his death. And so I went to my really good friend, one of my best friends, Thomas Galvin, he works at Chilton Sign and Design, one of our shameless plugs, one of our sponsors. He's been with me from year 2 of Syfy. They bring the car over here, they do the wrapping of it like a Star Wars car, which they're doing a Star Wars car. And I said, "Can you take this and make it a comic book?" Because I told Tristan that if he ever finished that story, I would publish it. So Thomas and his wife and his crew at Chilton Sign and Design came up with a comic book. I got to give you a copy of it because it's like a Marvel movie. I mean, it's beautiful. So we put his little story in there about how he came up with the story and all that. And so again, coming from my heart, it's just that's how I'm about everybody. So Steve, if he died in a horrible car wreck, I'll do a comic book about it. It'll be about this really cool guy that has like an orange head, these really crazy eyes, and a big mouth. And I'll call you Olio. That'll be your future. Don't die. I don't need any more death in my life. I'm sorry I even went. Go ahead.
Curtis says sending love to you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then he said it was a beautiful comic.
Yep. We just gave him a copy of that not too long ago. Curtis and Lori and I hold the same candle in that situation. But anyway, let's go back and talk about something fun and exciting. Like me, I'm fun.
Well, I'm gonna go back to, because how you were talking about Kitty and everything, and we're talking about the adopting the dogs. Uh-huh. My dog is actually a con dog. I adopted him from a convention.
So instead of barking, he goes, "Con, con, con!" Okay.
Exactly.
Great.
But see, I also know how you say Kitty's kind of spoiled.
Yeah.
I actually bought a couch so I could cuddle with my dog.
That is awesome. That's
We
awesome.
we only had the nice leather like stadium recliner chairs and everything, and I wanted to cuddle so bad. We bought a couch so I could cuddle with him.
This is Kitty. Hi, I'm a spoiled brat, and I just had 8 teeth pulled, and my breath doesn't stink anymore. But she's my daughter, and I love this dog, and I gave her a bath. And I feel
Oh yeah.
But,
Well, Max is
Bring your
Max
dog
is my
up.
buddy.
You got him
Huh?
right there. Bring him up. Let me see.
He's a
Come
okay,
here.
Trish. See,
Come here.
he doesn't like being picked up like that. Let me see if I can. You know what's going to be better, Max? Look up here. There's Max.
Oh, Max is cool. What
Yeah,
is that? A
Max-
Weimaraner? Mixed
He's a
Weimaraner?
mix. He's a
See?
mix between Pit, Weimaraner, and Golden Retriever.
Okay. Beautiful
And
dog.
I love him. He's the most, but he's spoiled. He has a bed in the living room. He has a bed right here in the dining room next to me, as you saw. He has a bed in my garage underneath my work desk, and he has a bed in my bedroom.
Wherever Kitty has many
wherever-
beds in the house, so
Wherever I'm at, he has a bed. So because he loves being like right next to me all the time.
right. Animals are great. You know, everybody said, you got a dog and you didn't give it a Star Trek name. And I said, Kitty is a Star Trek name. He goes, how is Kitty a Star Trek name? Well, I was always a cat guy. My first wife loved cats. She collected cats. So don't get icked out. And but I had 10 cats living inside my house for years. And I had 8 cat boxes. And I changed them because I get, you know, you guys who have cats, they're not the sweetest smelling animal when they go pee. So, over the years, I adopted them out or they passed away, and we lost 3 cats to old age last year. Last year was a shit year for us. We had to have 3 of them put down because one of them was old and was dragging their butt and all that, and it was hard on us. So now we have 2 cats and kids. Was that this year? You're right. It was before we got COVID. We had COVID back in July. So they said, well, you don't have any animal. I said, well, my big cat is with us. He's 2 years older than Kitty. She's 10, so he's 12. His name is Tiberius. James.
Tiberius. Tiberius Kirk.
And that's how he's known. My other cat, who showed up on our back doorstep when what was the hurricane? Irma came through, and a little kitten showed up, and she was very feral and wild. And she was a calico. She actually is a tortie. People call them calico, but she's a tortie look. She has like an orangish brown and black look to her. And she's still feral. And how old is Pepper now? 2 or 3 years? We named her Pepper, but it's Pepper Potts. So Pepper Potts. So she has like, so Lori loves Iron Man. So we were watching Iron Man the night. So Kitty, like, well, why don't you name Kitty a Star Trek name? I said, her initials, her papered initials are Kitty Lee, which is an old family name from my mother's side, L-E-E, not General Lee or anything like that. And Serdinsky, KLS, 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 the Klingon Jesus. So technically, she does have a, in my opinion, she does. So we've skewed off a bunch of personal shit, a bunch of crybaby stuff. I want to get back to talking about something happy, like your show. Let's hear about your show you got coming up.
Well, let me read Daryl's comment and Kerr's comment real quick. Daryl says, if you go to Steve's house, don't tell him. Ring the doorbell. It's so much fun, especially if you're crashing. Especially if you're crashing the show. We're in the middle of doing the show, and you come to my house and ring the doorbell. It sets off all the dogs.
That's nice.
Because I had Tom on the show one time. Daryl was in town. He decided he was going to show up so he could be on the show in person. And he didn't tell us. And he came and he rang the doorbell, and it set off all the dogs.
Oh my gosh.
And then Curtis says, was trying to laugh emoji and left on accident. LOL. Well, we're glad you're back, Curtis.
Well, I'm happy for all 2 of you guys listening to us tonight. So that's awesome.
Oh no, we got quite a few people actually watching. So
That's great. That's
And
great.
Win Dixie's usually watching too.
yeah, well, when Dixie was all the way up at the top, I can go all the way back from like an hour ago where it says Win Dixie says hello because our daughter works at Win Dixie,
Oh, okay.
and Win Dixie watches us every Thursday night when they should be working.
The beef people. Mid-Dixie.
But you didn't hear that from us.
Yep, and their bosses don't know anything about it.
We don't have a Winn-Dixie in Bartow anymore because the evil entity with the green, big giant pea came in and kind of brushed them out. So, but which I love the giant pea, but big green pea. Aldi not so much. Anyway, sorry. Your show is the weekend before Syfy Bartow.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about your show.
we're the pregame warm up for Bartow.
You're the
We're
opening
getting
act.
we're getting everybody warmed up for Bartow. You know, kind of getting the cobwebs off of everybody. You know, because there's only like 5 shows in January that everybody's going to be at.
Yeah, not many.
You know, so you know we're the opening act, like you said, for Bartow. Get back into that. Let's sell things and let's have a great time.
I agree. And I've been to your first show. Lord, I made the trip over there. We got off that earlier. I loved it. I thought it was a great venue. I spent a lot of money there. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed seeing people that I see at our shows. And, but that's what you got to do, Steve and Trish, is keep faith. Good always prevails over evil. And I know that's a cliche and all that, but it does. You stay true to what you're doing and enjoy it and have a great time doing it. And when you say, you know, we're arguing too much and we're talking about it too much at night, I can't sleep, that's when you say, screw it, it's not worth it. And then come up with plan B. Always have a plan B. So,
Well,
and
we've always said once it becomes work, it's no longer fun. We don't want to do it.
that's why I got out of doing a lot of DJing and stuff, because people started getting real picky about how they wanted their weddings done, and they wanted to outdo the next person that did a YouTube video. And I said to Laura, people weren't wanting to do traditional wedding stuff, like you wouldn't have your dollar dance, you wouldn't have your bouquet toss or your garter removal, no mother father dance, so that. Like, I love weddings. I have had fun at so many of these weddings. I've met so many great people, and I've made a good amount of money. And it isn't about the money. I'm just like with Syfy Bartow, I don't charge a lot for DJing. I'm like, well, this is what I normally get. Well, that's a little bit about a budget. How much can you pay? Okay, I could do it for that, because I have insurance on my equipment and stuff like that, and transportation, all that stuff. I'm like, if I can break even and come home and we can stop and get a fish sandwich from McDonald's after we're done with an event, I've had a successful day. And Lori texted me when we're going to eat DJ and father and daughter. We can fish sandwich from McDonald's when we're done with it. Like, you're thinking about food at a time like this? But anyway, it's the good times. You gotta remember the good times. There's a lot of crap about Syfy Bartow that grinds my gears, but at the end of the day, I look back and I'm like, wow, the thing, and please, I hope you never have to experience this, and you will, because your show's going to grow. You have a phenomenal show, and I will always support it if I can. Don't stop having fun, like we were saying. When you see people go up and talk to them, and thank them, because you never know the support you have until you have your pants pulled all the way down to your ankle, you're bare ass naked in front of 30,000 people, and like, holy shit, I got 30,000 people standing here. I need to go and thank some people. I hate myself at the end of Syfy Bartow, because Lori will come up to me and she said, "Didn't you see Lisa Oliver from Con Conference?" No, was she at our show? Because Lori takes care of all the vendors. See, shameless plug. See what I did there? And I'm like, no. She comes and eats at where Lori works constantly, and you know what she's doing the whole time she's there? She's talking about Syfy bar soap. Because when you attract people with honey, you get more people. When you attract them with vinegar, you get sourness. And if you're kind to people, and you guys are, and we try to be, I try not to make anybody mad. I've had the cosplay drama happen over a few conventions. I don't get it. I tell
Cosplay drama?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as cosplay drama.
Well, 15 minutes of fame only lasts 15 minutes. So, don't try to stretch it out. I love every one of my cosplayers, but if they come up into my house, Syfy Bartow, with their attitude, I want a table. I'm like, all right, well, what are you going to, what can we trade off for this? And then all of a sudden, there's cosplay drama. And I don't want that at my show. I want it to be a nice, family-friendly show. I had an incident at this year's Syfy where a young lady had a beautiful, fantastic, spot-on poison ivy costume, and her butt was hanging out that far. And I have two roving photographers that are at Bartow. They don't identify themselves. Matthew Piper is one of them, and he does my big group shots in front of the courthouse. He brought me the camera. He's like,
I met him.
You might want to look at this. And I look at it, I'm like, whoa! And Lori's like, whoa. Where is she? So Lori had to go up to her and ask her to cover up. And of course, the next thing we know, my DJ, Denny Prom's playing the Cupid Shuffle, and she's out there shaking it. And she was dancing with a Joker guy. And I'm friends with the club that this woman is involved with. They were very nice and accommodating because they're very discreet about it. And she took the Joker's coat and put it on. And it was great. And it worked out okay. We're not the big box, big town show. And I know you can go to these big box shows and see burlesque pretty much. Bartow is a very conservative town. And there's a lot of churches here. Okay? And there's a lot of... And what? 17 churches in the downtown area.
Oh, and wow.
I got my next... Yeah, y'all probably have I never told you guys. I got my neck stuck out really big because Bartow has never experienced the big con situation. And that's why I wanted to keep Syfy Bartow small and it's grown. Well, according to some people, we don't attract that many people. But I think 30,000 people are people. But
I would love to have a quarter of that.
Right?
It was a cosplayer that told me that. You can go to the blank show in Orlando and there's 100,000 people and you got a whole town and you can only attract 30. I'm like, who are you? And of course, they want to sell me some plan to where they can advertise for me. And you know what I told this person? You know what the best advertisement is? And hey, anyone that's watching this that does shows of their own, present company excluded, Steve, I'm not talking to you. Free admission. That's all I need for advertising. Because I get thousands of people coming. You mean this is free? Yep. My vendors pay a small fee, and they're happy with it. If you want advertisement, don't get a freaking billboard. Don't be on television. Just get on Facebook and say, hey, I'm doing a free toy show at blankety blank, and come on down or whatever, and you'll have thousands of people there. And make it up in another area if you have to, And honestly, people always ask me, what's your secret? And all this, and I'll have other people that run shows, not you, me at my show and say, I've had people that want me to combine with you. I do a totally different show. I said, yeah, you're charging admission free. I'm free. And this is for the
exactly
people, not Sean, so I'm not being hard on anybody. Do it. Business is business, but don't be a freaking Ferengi, be a Federation guy every once in a while, It isn't all about profit.
Now, you were talking about cosplayers and cosplay. You have a cosplay contest, and I'm going to announce something tonight, which I haven't really formally announced yet for Olo.
Okay.
We are also going to have a cosplay contest.
Nice.
But ours is going to be different than everybody else's. We call ours the mediocre cosplay contest.
I like the sound of that. Actually, that sounds great.
It is for those people who want to dress up as Iron Man but can't afford all that stuff. So they wrap foil around themselves and paint it red and come in. For the kids who can't afford all that stuff. We saw one at a convention that we were at Halloween. This kid cut out almost a perfect dinosaur head out of cardboard.
Nice.
Okay. And he was part of the cosplay contest, and he wasn't even looked at twice, except for by me and Trish. We're like, that's what we want to support. We want to support the love of dressing up as cosplay. Not the whole, I got to dress up so I win on everything, which a lot of cosplay has turned to. We want to go back. We want to support the love of dressing up in cosplay.
I get the cosplay phenomenon, but I like costumes. Go back to just costumes. And that story about the dinosaur head, I have something similar to that. It was probably, when wrestling had The Rock and Stone Cold, and I remember those days when wrestling was really cool instead of this, whatever it is now, sorry. But, of course, I'm bald. I don't know if any of y'all noticed it. I was going to wear a hat tonight, but I said, you know what, screw it. So we would do a version of the match game, and when Scott Finster was talking, about their version of the match game, it reminded me of this, and I thought about it after I talked to him on one of your previous shows, which is also one of our guests. I'm trying to get him to come back this year, but I know he's busy and all that.
I believe he wants to come back.
Yeah, he does.
So,
and I love him to death. And he was one of my first really mainstream. Hey, I got a guy from Face Off, when it was really popular. Anyway, we did this version of Match Game, and we needed a celebrity. I said, I'm going to do Stone Cold Steve Austin. I had the beard, and I had the bald head. So, and I did this, and it was on a Saturday afternoon. So I got up Friday, or I went to sleep Friday thinking about it. I got up Saturday morning, and I sent someone down to get me a roll of duct tape. I MacGyvered this. You're going to love this. And I went and I found two guys that had leg braces. And, Stone Cold wore leg braces at one point in his wrestling career. So I borrowed them. I said, let me have your leg braces. And I went and I got me some white duct tape. Someone got me white, and I put 316. I put it on my black shirt that I had. And I got him to get me a old ball cap. And I got me 2 cans of Hat Blue Ribbon and cans, PBRs, and walked in there, and no one knew it. And they said, "Who's the center square?" And I said, "Stone Cold is, because I said so." And I crashed those 2 beers together in front of all those people, threw it back, and drank those beers. Walked in there, and a guy stood up, and he looked like God darn it, what's Cactus Jack? What else did he go by? He was just at he was at
he was at Mankind. Mick Foley.
Mick Foley looked just like him, had the flannel shirt and everything. He goes, "I do. You're not getting." And this is just a guy sitting in the audience that looked like him, and I'm like, "Oh yeah!" And he come running at me, and I did the Stone Cold Stunner on him, where I kick him in the groin. He goes down, and I do the flip around and hit him. The guy played the whole thing out, and then I went. Everybody was playing the music. The crowd went crazy. I came up with that costume in 20 minutes, and that was one of my most favorite things in the entire world. I'll never forget it.
I'm going to read a comment real quick because this is from Daryl, because he was at the same convention I was on Halloween. The kid in the Dino mask was robbed. He did such a great job.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. That's what we want to support. I mean, anybody can spend years upon years making a cosplay. I mean, there is great cosplay out there, especially at your show.
Daryl Gunner just said that. He just told me he was going to bed.
I know.
Daryl Gunner going to bed, and now he's Daryl. What the hell?
But here's the secret, Daryl.
bill for me, aren't you? I know you are, buddy.
Here's the secret about Daryl. He watches us in bed. It's when he starts telling us he's naked watching us in bed that we have to watch out.
You don't have any pants on right now, do you?
He fits right in with our show.
It does. But no, that's like I said, that's the cosplay contest. Boris from Monster Manor, which is Scott Fenster's show. He's gonna be running the mediocre cosplay contest.
Wait. I'm glad you brought that guy up. Explain that guy to me, because I'm creeped out by him when I see him, and I want him to come to Syfy Bartow, but I don't know how to. What's his deal? I mean, I'm sorry, Boris, I don't know you, and I don't get your character.
Boris is a great friend of our show.
Okay.
He actually, his very first convention was Olo this year.
Yeah, I was there. I remember.
Yep. He's part of Monster Manor. He started out as a bit part of Monster Manor at the end. Here he is right here. There's Mr. Boris.
Yeah.
He has now become like really catching on. He is now a horror host. He does do some horror hosting for certain like internet TV channels and stuff like that. He has become an everything. Boris is like the awesomest, but he still holds us in very high regard, and he's still gonna be at our show. He was the one that actually came up with the name Mediocre Cosplay Contest. He did it as a joke, but I went with it because I loved it. And because we even said we're going to give mediocre prizes. We'll give you a gift card to Applebee's, a used one.
Yeah,
might have $17, might have 17 cents. You never know. That's the mystery.
You remember that Chuck Barris did a thing called the 39-cent beauty contest, and the prize was like 39 or 48. It was some small amount of money. The guy that did the gong show. That's great. But this Boris guy I've been fascinated by him since he's been on scene, and I don't know how to approach him. And Boris, if you're listening, I would love to have you as a guest at Syfy Bartow. I know you wear a lot of dark clothing, and you're very creepy and stuff, but I think you'd be a great fit. And if you're interested, let me know, and I'll give you a damn free table.
Usually he's on, unless he's with the master on Thursday nights. He usually has to take the master out to the Jiggly Hut. So
okay, all right, I got you.
But after the show, the Jiggly Hut, that's up there by the villages, and the master goes out there. He works for the master, and the master likes going out to the speed dating at the Jiggly Hut.
I had him pegged as like a guy that wrote comic books or something. I was way wrong. He's really a high-end actor cosplayer guy that has found a niche, and that's what I like about that. Now that you told me that.
No, Boris isn't a cosplayer. Boris is Boris.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
We'll talk more about Boris after the show.
That's fine. I'm good with it. You mentioned him, and so that's why I'm going.
No, anyway. Boris is one of my favorite people in the world. And he's took to our show. That's another thing. I'm gonna go back to Olo a little bit.
Sure,
one of the things that we try to do with Olo is it's a first time con for a lot of vendors and everything. The first show we had a lot of vendors that it was their first convention ever.
Really?
Boris included. This next year 2 that we're coming up with, we have a lot of first timers also. We have the seasoned vendors, but we also have first timers, which I love that they want to take the chance on our show, to try it out. So that's I would consider one of our niches that we like is the first time convention goers, vendors, artists, creators.
The ones I started off with are still with me. I have almost the exact same vendors now. Of course, we've added more from the show year 1 of Syfy. I what is the name of the shirt guy that I like has the teeth, guys?
Great. Creative
Creative
Image
Image
Design.
Clothing.
Oh.
Ashley and Scott, a House Broken Clothing. They came one year. They have some. I bought a lot of stuff from them. They came one year, and we accidentally set another T-shirt vendor next to them on us. And he came up, and Laura and I always did all around all the vendors. We give out a prize to whoever has the best vendor booth. We do it every year. Either it's a trophy or a gift card to Applebee's or whatever. Thanks for stealing that idea, Steve. Anyway.
Hey, mine is a used Applebee's card, okay?
We were talking about Applebee's tonight. It's so funny you bring it up. But anyway, he said, well, we didn't do good. Could you put another shirt vendor by us? I said, dude, I'm going to tell you, it was a mistake. He goes, we sold some stuff. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I reached in my wallet, and I pulled out $60. I gave it. Here's your $60 back. Next year's on me and Lori. So you're getting $120 if you come back next year. He came back the next year and made a phenomenal turnaround. I didn't put a shirt on it. And he loves us so much. He brags about us. I found him at that big box convention that happens in Orlando sometime around Memorial Day. It used to be. But anyway, I found him there. And like I said, I don't go to those other conventions to recruit. And he came to us because he'd heard about us. And someone pointed him out to us because I got fans everywhere. And not being self-centered, but I do. I'm overwhelmed by it. I was that nerdy kid growing up where no one liked. Like, hey, look at him, he's got a Knight Rider T-shirt on this airbrush. And that's back in the hair days. Anyway, they came back and they enjoyed it, and they've been with us ever since. They love it, and I always go and buy something from him. That's the whole funny thing about Syfy. I have these vendors, and I ended up spending money with them. They get their money back almost immediately. And I knew we had reached a level of friendship with vendors. And hopefully, if it hasn't happened to you guys yet, it will. And it's very humbling. They'll bring you gifts. And I've been gifted so much cool stuff from my vendors. Hey, here you go. And they're not asking for a discount or a free spot or anything. It's like, we just love your show and you made us a lot of money. And here you go. Here's, gosh, I don't even want to name some. The guy with artwork, got tons, and I love original artwork, especially if it's Godzilla or Star Trek. Pillow blankets. Yep.
All this is original artwork.
The person I was just talking to you about with the shirts and stuff, he gave me. I went up and had it in my hand. It was I love the creature from the Black Lagoon, and it's like a side collection for me. And he had a carving of a tiki, one of him. He just handed it to me. He said, "I don't want nothing. We made so much money today." The comic book store that's in town, which unfortunately John Harrison has passed away, that opened up the comic book store. He died of cancer this year, and I was really close with him. And I haven't even been able to bring myself to go to their comic book store because I don't want to face his daughter and his wife. I don't know what to say. I've had too much death in my. I don't want to go back to that. But anyway, when he came to Syfy number 2, was it 2, Lori? He brought the comic books, set them up, and sold so much. I said, "Did you do all right? I know it was your first time, and you came from Orlando or Kissimmee or wherever he was from." He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "We're wanting to open up a comic book store in this town now because there's a good draw." Stevie pulled out a roll of cash that I'm telling you, it was a choking elephant. I know I said that earlier. He was one of them. And Bartow
Bought
is
a house, bought a store.
yes. And so this is what I want you to remember. I know you charge an admittance fee to your show, and that's cool, and I'm not telling you not to. But without charging the admittance fee for your guest, and it all depends on how loyal you are with your vendors. I know there's a lot of other shows that come in and want to take vendors from your show and promise them all this big stuff. The best promise that I can tell you for your vendors is don't charge an admittance fee. Make it up to their vendor fee or whatever, because that gives them an opportunity to spend that $10 or $20 or $10 or $5 with the vendor. And that has been my logic with Syfy Barcode. It would be impossible for me to put up a gate or a door for people because, you know, it's open air, it's a fair. I threw that out the window right away. But, and this is what I've learned over the almost 9 years that we've been doing this, people spend more money when they don't have to pay $30 for an autograph or $30 for an admittance fee. And they can come and go as they want. If they want to leave and go downtown, which we want them to stay in downtown and go and eat at Hacienda or Bedrock Wings or Sweet Magnolias or wherever they want to eat. Yeah. And don't look at that. So, or McDonald's or whatever, they come back because we don't have to check the wristband. And please, Trish and Steve, I'm not talking about your show. You got to do what you got to do, and you have a.
He's talking about our show, damn it.
No, you have a very good fee to get in, and I go up there just like your show. Oh, we're not charging you to get in. I went down to that Suncoast Fan Fest. But we're not. I want to pay. You're trying to make money, and I'm here, and I want to pay your money. And you know, a lot of people like you guys and all that stuff. The guy, my friend at Suncoast Fan Fest, gave us gratuitous vendor passes or passes to get in and all that stuff. And it's like, that's great, but I'm not asking for anything for free. Advice I give you for free. If you take it, that's your pocket or not your pocket. But you know, I'm not a professional at doing this. I'm not big box something out of California or Canada or wherever there's these people from. I'm not looking at the bottom line of, oh, we're going to be able to pay all these people. All my people that help me with Syfy Barcode don't ask for pay. They don't want anything. They want to be a part of the show. I have told Laura this, but my vendor or my volunteer coordinator has worked with me from the very beginning, Virginia, and she is awesome. And she's had some things. She's in her family. She had a grandchild and all this. Her dad passed, some other things. But she was there popping the whip. I don't want to say it that way. She took charge and took care of everything. And I try to pay her. She gives me that money back. And Lori said, if you've heard from her, she moved out of Bartow. And I contacted her. She is coming. And she goes, all that I ask is, I want to get up and I have a friend coming in from somewhere and I want to spend part of the day with them. I said, you're not obligated to run the information news or whatever. Go and have fun. I tell my good friend Mark before, it's the same thing. He helped us this past show with getting vendors out after they've set up. It was done at 10:30, quarter 11, and he had the rest of the day. It was him. I appreciate everyone. Joseph Smothers and his wife, they just had a baby, and I couldn't do Syfy Barcode without him. Curtis, that was commenting earlier, he's helped me with Syfy Barcode. He helps Randy with the car show. Not even to mention Randy. Randy has given up a lot of personal stuff to help me with Syfy Barcode. And it all goes back to when Laura and I had created the beginning of Syfy Saturday when we first started. We branded the town with the name. If you build it, they will come. And they have come, and they have humbled me and my wife so much. And that's the fire or the I want to put under you and Trish about your event because you have something really awesome there. It's going to grow. But you have to look at the big thing because people are going to remember a sour note quicker than they will remember something nice. And like let them come to your convention for free. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm just saying, you know, that's what Syfy Barcode is known for. And you've heard it out there. People talk great about us. And we're not, you know, and I want it to remain that way. I want them to remember, I want them to have a good experience in this town, you know. And they have. And they speak kindly of it and humbly to me to the point of, God, I have celebrity status in this town. I don't want it. I've been asked to run for a commissioner. I've been asked to be a mayor. I've been asked to do all these wonderful things. And I don't like politics. I think it's ridiculous. I'm not an anarchist, but everyone, people got to get along. So Lauren and I can't even go to Publix. We have to pick an off day. We don't think it's like a Thursday afternoon or something because we get in there and God love them. I'm not saying if you're listening to this show and you talk to us, but it's humbling is what it is. Because I'm like, oh my God, it's Sean and Lori, woo, the savior of our town. I'm like, this town was here long before I was. I just do a little event and everybody happy. Most of my attendees to Syfy Bartow are not from Bartow. Bartow people are fantastic, and I love them, but they don't support the events that come to town. There's a small handful that does, and I can name names, I'm not, but it's outsiders. I don't mean that as a negative thing. I mean, like, I met someone, I had a group of cosplayers that came in from Atlanta, Georgia. 3 years ago, they were called the Unusual Rangers, and they did all the Power Rangers costumes. And they came in and they jumped up on stage and did a show, and all they wanted was a table for the day. And I accommodated that because, I work really closely with John with Phantasmagoria that's out of Michigan. They've been my entertainment for my Friday night kickoff show for the last 2 years. He contacted me and let me back again. And I'll tell you a quick story about that. The day that I got to come to do the kickoff show on Friday night, which is always Friday night, Syfy, will be the 18th. It's at 6 o'clock, free street fair, music, fun, all that stuff. Vendors, everything. They came and performed, and he gave me a price, and I didn't agree with it, and he worked with my price, very accommodating. I tipped every one of his players that night as true, and I did it last year as well, and I did it this year as well, and they want to come back in February this coming year, 22, and I welcome you. I'm looking, and if anyone's listening, our theme is kind of a Star Wars kind of a theme. I need someone that can do the Cantina Band music and dress up like the Cantina guys. The 501st are coming. Every 501st club in Florida is coming. They're bringing the giant displays that you see at the big box conventions. The Rancor.
They're bringing Roxy?
Yep, the trash compactor. They said as long as the rain holds out, and I get a lot of other promoters that make fun of, it's outside, ours is inside, all that stuff. That's great for you. Syfy Bartow is outside. We do social distancing with the vendors. We ask that, if you feel comfortable with it, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, face mask covering, don't. I mean, it's an outdoor event, and you don't come home with con crud and all those other great stories you hear. But rain is my only con in my Rathacon. So, but in 9 years, we'll be celebrating 9 years. I said that doesn't. It's sprinkled twice, and as you said earlier, people stayed and enjoyed it. Because people are doing outside shows, no matter if it's a flower show or a honeybee
craft fair,
whatever. They know they're outside. They have a tent. They're prepared if things happen. So it's not a cut down or I'm better than you because your show is inside or outside. It's just, I like our show outside. It'll never change. But it helps the town. And, let me mention, I want to get back on the Syfy Bartow real quick because I haven't talked about the show this year, but I have the flyer here. It's
hold on. Let me put you.
You got a picture of it? I sent you a picture of it. Put it up. Oh,
I didn't see a picture of it.
Oh,
no.
I sent you a copy of this, but we're doing a whole, got the big ad, and this is actually people at one of the shows in the foreground. And I've got the 501st on here. I got our great sponsors, which I'd like to mention real quick. My sister-in-law's restaurant, SNL Restaurant. Harlan Meeks Real Estate, or Meeks Real Estate. I love this woman. I have done many personal events for her. I did her son and daughter-in-law's wedding. They love it. Badcock Home Furniture and More. That's one of my big sponsors. They're awesome. Bedrock Wings, Bartow, Chilton Signs and Sign Works, Chilton Sign Works and Design. Ruby Tuesdays came on board this year. We did and talk about doing free stuff. They came to me and said, hey, you got all these cool costume people and vehicles that come to Syfy, and we're huge fans of it. Can you come and be an attendee at our trunk or treat? And it was the weekend before, or the weekend of Halloween, Saturday. We ended up bringing probably 500 people in. I had a guy from Claremont bring a Ghostbusters vehicle. I had a guy bring a Ghost Rider vehicle. I had a Star Wars vehicle. I had Gene brought his Mystery Machine. I had a great truck come in. Autism trucks and vehicles are big time because they advertise the autism situations. And they came. And it was a hit. And Ruben Judy said, well, how much is it to be a sponsor, be on the poster and everything? And I told them, they didn't question it. The manager went right in and gave me cash money for it. Just the way it rolls. I got
now. I'm
go ahead,
I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
Now, because Ruby Tuesday was at your last show this year.
Yep.
And I got this cool cup from him.
Oh, Sarah there is so nice. Sylvia, I'm sorry. Sylvia, Dot.
I got this from them there. So you were talking about them. It's like I remember them there because I actually got this from them.
Well, they'll be back this year. They already got a spot and everything. I got Steven's Truck and Trailer. Let me tell you about how he became a sponsor. We have got a lot of business out of Main Street Park because they do a thing every third Friday called Friday Fest. And because of the COVID situation, a lot of bands and stuff haven't been coming because of that. So they've been hiring DJs, and we are their premier DJ. They hire some other guys because they like to spread the wealth around, and I get that. They mostly hired us, so they hired us for the Bartoberfest in October. And Lori got into the contest and failed miserably. The Stein hoisting contest.
I thought I did pretty good.
You know why she thought she did pretty good? She said, oh, I did pretty good. You know why? You weren't supposed to drink the damn beer. You're supposed to hold it and see who holds it out the longer. Lori, and these are big mugs. I mean, like huge. And she's over there drinking. You're disqualified. Why? You ain't supposed to drink the damn beer. I don't want the beer. I'm like, so Steven walks up to me and he walks up to Lori. He's like, how do I become a sponsor? And he said, this amount, and send me a business card. And the next day, he had a check at the Main Street office. And he's on the poster. Steven's Truck and Trailer here. New business in town. 102.9, our local radio station, which I'm a huge fan of. One of my best friends in the world, Jeff, is the main DJ on there. And he has me on the show constantly. He'll text me. He's like, hey, we're a little slow today. Can you call in? I'm like, yeah, and we'll talk about when it was a Star Trek day a few months ago. We did a whole show on Star Trek because he does this thing called the Shopper, and it's like an online flea market. From 9 to 10, you can call in there and say, "Hey, I got this mattress. It's been peed on by my dog, but I paid $275 for it at Walmart. I only want $200 for it." So it's stuff like that. It's the best comedy show in the world. I laugh my ass off listening to it. He has some great callers. I'm making fun, but it's a really good thing. So I'll call him up on there, or I'll text him just so I can hear if he's turned off if he's put his phone on vibrate or not, because I can hear it over the radio, and it's like a little game I play with him, Because I'll go for like a week or two without text messaging during the show, and then I'll do it real quick. Hey, buddy, what's going on? I'm like, I got him. So I'm crazy. But 102.5 is one of our main sponsors as well, and that's how I've met great people. And they said they throw money at me, and I'm not asking for it because they know I'm going to promote them. It's like here, none of those people probably listen to the show tonight. I hope they are, but I talk about it, so I've done my end of the deal. So let me tell you a few other things about Syfy real quick. Right now we have close to 100 vendors, and we have room for probably 100 more, maybe. So if you want to be a vendor at this show and be awesome like us, email us at Syfy. That's SYFY Bartow at Gmail. And Lori will send you a vendor application. Now, if you qualify, what I mean by qualify is you have to sell something that's canon. Superheroes, Star Trek, Star Wars, Harry Potter. You know, we had a lady that we grandfathered in that sold homemade jellies and jams. She didn't really fit in, but she got grandfathered in that she'd give up the business, so it kind of worked its way out. But she did well, you know. But we have food trucks come in. We don't ever step on the restaurants. So if I have a taco truck that wants to come, they can't come because of hacienda. If I have someone that does chicken wings, I can't have that because they drop wings. And that's just the way that we roll. I try to keep it fair with everyone. We have a huge car show. It's all science fiction themed every time, and it happened the night I posted this poster on Facebook. Hey, I want to come to your car show. I said, are you a movie or a TV theme? And his truck was beautiful, but it had nothing to do with TV or movies. I'm like, dude, it was them low rider guys that did this crap. And I loved it. Beautiful, beautiful blue trucks. And I'm like, it's just not for you. I just want fandom stuff. There's 70 to 80 cars that come to my car show. Randy does a phenomenal job. We've actually even set up a DJ booth we've been using on the TV theme. I got a big conglomeration of the Ghostbusters Club at the car show. I have Bell, which is a Pikachu Volkswagen. She's there every year. She does a panel every year. I mentioned Athena Finger. She's coming this year. Her and the real Aquaman are coming. Huge fans of what?
I'm gonna cut you off there.
Right.
She is officially going to be Mrs. Aquaman.
Yes, I saw that. I didn't want to do any spoilers. Great lady.
Well,
He's gonna move.
They've already kind of spoiled it, but we got to find out on Halloween Day where she showed us the ring and everything, and so
That's fantastic. He's good people. I've known him for years, and he's always welcome at my show. What else? Oh, I got a Star Wars wedding happening at the show this year. Romeo and Jenny, who are part of Anime Part of the World, they're getting married on the steps of the courthouse, and the 501st are involved. I'm doing an entire street called Central Spaceport. So if you look at my flyer, and I'll send you one, you can send it out for me. Come visit Central Spaceport. It's nothing but Star Wars. It's going to be a whole block and a half of nothing but Star Wars stuff. The 501st, the Rebel Legion is going to be there. The Mandalorian, the Mandos are going to be there. I've got, what is her name that is going to do the lightsaber stuff for us? Gosh darn it. Amelia is doing the lightsaber guild. We have, I'm going to cheat real quick and look at my cheat list. I'm sorry. It is, hold on, it's right here. USS Haven, they're coming. I didn't mention them. They're going to be a cosplay guest. My good friends from there. The Klingon Assault Group, CAG is coming again. Gotham Underground is coming. I've got Guardians of Justice, they're coming. Weary Woman, Lauren Ettinger, she's only one of my cosplayers that's been with me for years. She's doing looks like she's going to be doing the slave costume of Princess Leia. Mark Muncie, I've mentioned him. He's been at every one of my shows. Here it is. Saber Guild of Orlando is coming. They're going to do some lightsaber demonstrations. And what's the other one? There's another Saber Guild. Kevin, I can't remember. Kevin, I'm sorry if you're listening. I can't think of what your last name is. They're coming. I got Star Wars clubs coming out of the game. I've got the Miss Syfy Bartow pageants happening this year. We're going to do our regular costume contest. An art show, which has been very popular over the years, that's coming back. My friend Paul runs that. Oh, Mike, the Magic Man. He does street magic. This is something new that's happening at Syfy. He dresses as Han Solo. He does magic tricks on the street, and it's the first time he's coming down to see us. I know I'm missing somebody.
I love your balloon guy you always have.
Bruce, Not Your Ordinary Balloon Man's coming back. Tim Proctor you mentioned Walking Dead. He's coming back this year. We're going to be his first convention after the pandemic. He's been out of the loop for 2 years. And he said he wanted Syfy Bartow to be his comeback show. And since he has a lot of fans that come and hangs out, I'm glad I saw Tim's face there. And like I said, I don't have major giant stars. In my heart, they are. But I'm honored. Just like, everyone I've mentioned, even my authors, Steve Altair, Mark Muncy. I have, Rob Robertson is a Bigfoot hunter. He comes. Joel Winecoop, which is friends to both of us, he's not going to make it this year.
He's not.
No, he's not coming to be the first time, and this will be the second year he's not. He didn't come this past year. I don't want to announce that. That's not my place to announce. But, he's had some death in the family, and I've been friends with his wife Kathy for eons, and he was with us at the old Volcon days. But that's what I love about it is my vendors, my cosplayers, my authors, my artists, they are my celebrities. And, I love it when everyone's having a good time. I see the 501st marching down Main Street, arresting people for being rebel scum. That's what I do this show. And it's just, I love the Klingons getting up on the stage and singing Klingon war songs. And, they want to do a ceremony at the City Hall and raise the Klingon flag, but I've had bad experiences with the Klingon flag. The one I like was kind of like a Nazi. I've been in trouble with that Marco before. It's red flag with a white circle with the Klingon emblem, which I know, but we've had people come up to our yard and I fly the Klingon colors proudly. You're an atheist. You're a white supremacist. I'm like, because I'm bald? That's racist. No, because you're flying the Nazi flag. And I'm like, here. I ended up giving a guy a complete story of the Klingon Empire because he thought that I'm like, dude, you remember Star Trek Captain Kirk? Is that the guy with the sword that lights up? I knew I was doomed from the beginning. But
now, see,
I can't make this stuff up, people. This stuff really happened. My town is a very conservative town. No, I'll tell them about the porta party. But they've never been to a big box show or know anything, and it's the FFA and the FHA, whatever, and that's great. I support the school and everything, but that's what this town's about. So when I opened their eyes about Syfy Bartow, and it became this phenomenon, here now, like, we can't believe you thought of this. And all I said, I like science fiction. The first show I did, I may have told this story on another show I've done to you. The first show I did, when I just had the one block, I had my friend bring the TARDIS. I was talking about him earlier. He came on Friday, and he went up there for the Friday night event, which was not a sci-fi event at the time. It was, we did the first sci-fi in March, so it was a St. Patrick's Day kind of thing, or Mardi Gras. That's what it was. We did this whole thing with this TARDIS, and it weighed a ton. I had to get a forklift. A friend of mine brought it in, set it right on Main Street on the sidewalk, and they got calls wanting to know why there was a porta potty. And I had to explain to the young lady that was in charge of Main Street that it was a time machine that looked like a United Kingdom that does travel one time. And the commander is from a planet called Gallifrey, and Daleks might show up as Cybermen, and might silence you. And about that time, the heavens, so it was like white. So that's the things I've had to put up with over the last 9 years. And I love putting up with it because it's enjoying to me. I laugh about it. And I educate people. I told one of the directors, I'm bringing the Klingon group CAG in. CAG? Yeah, Klingon Assault Group. And it was when all the Klingon groups were coming back together in Florida. They made a big appearance. And you know what they did? They have this thing where it's think it's called the Blinded Warrior or something. They collect glasses for the Lions Club because the Lions Club collects old broken glasses, fixes them, and donates glasses. They did a phenomenal job. I had the president of the Lions Club come up and accept the glasses and all that. It was a great thing. You mentioned the pet adoption thing. When the pet adoption happens at Syfy Bartow, which it is this year, there's no pets left by 1 or 2 o'clock. The church service center, Rusty Music, one of my best friends, we got involved with them this year and did a fundraiser. We raised a large amount of money, and Lori and I took out of our pocket and matched the amount of money to the church service center, which helps like women that have been in need, and if people don't have food, you can go in there and get food. If you have Christmas for kids, they give you the toys. It's a great foundation. And I'm doing that raffle again. We do a big basket. I probably put $350 worth of stuff in that basket. We're doing it again. It's going to be all Star Wars memorabilia. So if you come to Syfy, find the information booth, buy a ticket. It's $1. It all goes to a great cause. And I love walking down Main Street. I've been asked by radio personalities. I've been asked by television people. Why do you do this? I said, I'll tell you. I like walking down the road or standing on that stage. They fighting with lightsabers, fighting invisible ghosts, and doing anime stuff that I have no idea what. Giant swords are like giant swords, and everyone has fun. I've never on wood, never had a problem at Syfy Bartow. I do prop weapons check. The Bartow Police Department helps me with that. They check all the weapons. Everybody gets a fluorescent zip tie, regardless if they like it or not. If they don't like it, they throw it.
See, now I think they got upset with me the year I cosplayed as the Punisher there.
Why?
Because it took like 5 minutes to get all my weapons out so they could tag them all.
You know, Nate Fleury is one of my best friends. He's my security chief, and he takes care of all that. Main Street Bartow, the director with the whole company, she was fantastic to work with. She knows nothing about science fiction, but she's learning. And I have Marie Wilmot comes and helps me. She cosplays everything from. She came to my house for Halloween and came dressed as a New York police officer. She heard the Ghostbusters were going to be there. My friend Thomas and his wife showed up in their full-blown Ghostbusters costumes. Maria Tripp, she takes care of my cosplay alley. She's going through some life issues right now, and she's not going to be able to help me that much this year. But I promised her, I said, I will give you a wheelchair or anything. I have somebody push you around. Just come and be there. I mentioned Mark LaForest. I've mentioned Curtis, Randy.
Now Mark LaForest gave the
Vulcan
live long and
sign.
prosper site. Yep.
Huh? I love Mark. He got me onto Lower Decks because I was skeptical at first, and Lord, I ended up loving it. We both agree on Prodigy that it should stay as SpongeBob SquarePants type of show on Nickelodeon because it's horrendous. Sorry, people, if you like it. But Mark and I's biggest discussion is about Discovery and the new Picard series because we do not see eye to eye. And Mark's a great cosplayer. He actually went to the Neutral Zone Studios up in Kingsland, Georgia, a few weeks ago, and was a background person. He had the blue shirt. They wanted a bunch of people that were on the original Star Trek, and he was spot on. He got to sit in the captain's chair. I'm extremely envious.
Well, at least he was blue shirt, not red shirt.
Yeah, he couldn't find a red shirt. He wanted to be a red shirt. But what he does for a living, he thought that the blue would be kind of better to qualify. He is phenomenal. I started him out at Syfy this past event, and he was hilarious. He's exactly what I'm looking for. So if you want to volunteer for Syfy Bartow, I just need like 2 or 3 hours from you, and then go have a fun rest of the day because it goes from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturday, February the 19th, downtown Bartow. Plenty of free parking. Everybody's like, where do we park? There's a no parking sign here, and it says 2 hours only. I said, the city has lifted the ban on the parking for us because they're working with us. The
Now,
Chamber of Commerce. Do what?
me and Trish had our own little hidey hole of a parking spot. I'm
Don't
not
tell
gonna say
anybody
I'm
about
not
it.
gonna say where it's at, but slowly over the years, people are starting to catch on to where we were parking.
Right.
So it's like now we got to get there earlier to get our parking spot.
Any
But we
parking
have
in
a
the
nice little.
any parking in the downtown area is free, even if it says 2 hours only. It's free. The parking garage at the courthouse is free. They've lifted that for us. Bartow has embraced Syfy Bartow. There are still a few naysayers, but I'm assimilating them into my culture. And they just, some of them don't get it. You have, say, a store that sells dish towels. That's all they sell. And I say, hey, find something that has a Superman logo on it or whatever. No, that's not going to sell. And then they complain because no customers come in their store. All these people are here, but they're not coming to our store. I have vendors the same way. We've been to Syfy Bartow 2 or 3 times and haven't sold. Now, this only happens like maybe 1 or 2. We haven't sold a thing. It's not the placement. We want to be on Main Street. All of Bartow is, downtown Bartow is a part of it. We're trying to put everybody on Main Street this year, but they're going to find out that that's not always a great thing because it's not about the placement, it's the product. And, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but you got to think. If you've been 2 or 3 shows with your artwork or a product you're selling or whatever, and you're not making even the $65 only dollars to be a vendor, then it ain't Syfy Bartow business. I'm bringing the horses. Y'all are the water. I can bring them, but y'all got to make them. Y'all can't make them drink unless you got something they want to drink. Main Street Comics and Memorabilia, my friend John, that's what I talked to him earlier. They always do phenomenal. I give them 2 spots in front of their store because all of my stores on Main Street get a free spot. They have an opening. And I'm the only event that does that for downtown Bartow too. A lot of the other bigger shows that come in there, which are not bigger anymore.
Well, see, if you come to Olo, I'll give you a free spot on Bartow. How's that?
I don't want it. I'm busy that day. And I wouldn't take it from him. I would pay for it.
No, I'm talking about vendors. I'm talking vendors.
Your vendors.
You come to Olo, I'll give you a free spot in front of Bartow.
No.
It was a joke.
Yeah, it wasn't
Hey,
a good one.
let me know when your show is, not this year, but the year after, because I'm going to put Syfy Bartow on the same day. I'll be that guy, okay? You like that?
Sure.
I got that happening to me this year, which is fine, because everyone's going to come to a free show and have to go and pay to get in. And I'm not being cocky, I'm being honest.
Now I'm gonna start wrapping up because we're already past 2 hours.
Shit.
But I did want to mention 2 things that I love about Bartow.
Okay.
One is I got this at Bartow this year.
Yep, you got it from the same guy I got my Creatures of the Black Lagoon from.
Yep, because I already told you I'm very big with the rum, and I love this.
I love it too. It's great. I think he has those tiki cups there. Got to put my glasses on. All right. What's the second thing you love about Bartow other than me?
I love the fact it's the only show, expo, convention, whatever you want to call it, where I see a goat in cosplay walking down the street with me.
A Goku. There's a lot of Goku that comes up.
No, goat.
Goat.
Oh, a goat. Oh, you're
Goat.
talking the goat that comes every year? Yeah, they come every year with this thing.
I look forward to seeing the goat and what it's dressed up as that year.
We had a pet costume contest for the longest time. For 2 years running, I think a rat dressed as original Batman and Robin won, and I'm like, it's over. Who can put a costume on a freaking rat and win a costume contest? My friend Tara can do it because she is awesome. One of the best cosplayers I know. She is so good. she'll cosplay, and I won't even recognize her. And I'll ask her, like, who the hell is that? She goes, it's Tara. I'm like, no, that ain't Tara. I know Tara. Yep. Well, she does a spot-on Freddy Krueger. I saw it for Halloween. I'm going to tell you 2 things I like about your show. I know it's new. The host and hostess are awesome, very accommodating. They really have their heart and soul into their event, Polio. I really, really think people should go and check the show out. The entrance fee is reasonable. I can see where you're going to have to grow your show to a bigger venue. It's going to grow, and believe me, it will, Steve, because if I would have told you 8 years ago that Syfy Bar Show was attracting 30,000 people, I would have just laughed in your face. But it does. And your show is going to have that same curse on it. Because you have a good little clean show. You're adding to it, which is you have to experiment like you did. Now you want to add your little your cosplay. No, I don't mean little. I'm just saying your costume contest. You got a great host, Boris, because you got him coming to your show, and I can't fall down on my knees and beg him to come to mine. I would, Boris. Come to my show, Boris. I think you're awesome. But anyway, you have a lot of potential, and it's already there. I support it. I don't mind if you come and hand out flyers at my show because you would ask me permission. It's the guys that come and hand out flyers or try to tempt with my vendors that infuriate me. You're always dressed nice for a promoter type. Don't come up to me and want to talk about a convention or things and you're dressed like a bum off the street. And, you're not well-groomed. You're a well-groomed guy, and you represent. You got to represent your show.
Today I'm well-groomed.
Nice. And then, don't cut me down because I blew you off when I just honestly didn't know who you were. I don't have that with you. The day I met you and Trish, I loved you. You were very, I saw your truck. It was at Space Coast Comic-Con. And what's the guy? Jake and his crew. And that's where I met Rick Stanford for the first time. And you were there.
Yeah, and I was thinking we met you for the first time when you were at Josh's show. You had a table.
Yes, you're right.
Yep.
The second one, Josh's show was awesome because I came there with my comic book friend that passed away now. That was a fun show, and that was my first foothold on winning people's attention about Sci-Fi Market. And Josh has become a fantastic. He already was a fantastic artist. But he's getting big time, and I want him back at the show. And he comes and visits Hanging with the Web and all that. They do their live broadcast of the show and all that stuff. But
basically, we actually felt very what do you want to call it? Grateful because he actually is going to be coming to Olo this year. He got a couple tables for Olo, and I know he said that he didn't want to do any really of the smaller shows anymore. So we're very honored. That's the word I was saying.
Absolutely.
That he did choose us that he's going to do us.
He did fairly well at our show. I've talked to people. There's a gentleman that's my supervisor at my day job, and they come in and bought one of his high-end pieces one of the last times he was at the Sci-Fi Bar Show. I think we had scheduling conflicts or something, or I don't know. I've lost some great people over here, some great cosplayers. Charles Watson, who used to do Iron Man, spot-on costume. He doesn't do conventions anymore. I've got, but when one steps down, 2 or 3 take their place. But, I've made a lot of friends, and I've lost a lot of friends. Not because of bad, just because they don't do it anymore. So, Jason Raleigh, he, what are you laughing about?
Okay, I gotta say this because Mark LaForest has been commenting. First of all, he said Tom Brady when I was talking about GOAT, and it's like I'm not a Brady fan, so we won't go there.
I'm reading them now.
Poison Ivy
did have a good costume. I'll give you that.
Now the next one is what I laughed about. By the way, Sean is just saying nice things about me because he wants some of my Star Trek dolls.
What he doesn't know and if you're listening for us, is Christmas is coming, and I'll show you about dolls because he has been to my home. That man helps me personally. He's a great sounding board. I talked to him for an hour and 38 minutes today, off and on, because I drive for a living and I have a lot of free time. And he's great. And it isn't just about Syfy Bar Show, it's personal stuff and everything. But he's bought a guy's collection of Star Trek stuff, and I collect the 9-inch cloth dolls. I'm looking for them, so if anyone listening has any of them, especially you, LaForest, a lot of those dolls I didn't have came in that collection. And I wanted them, and I said, because I want to split the cost of the collection with him. He got a really good deal on that collection. Damn you, LaForest. But that's what he's talking about, Star Trek dolls. Keep doing what you're doing. I'd love to be back on your show before Syfy 2022. Pencil me in January somewhere. I love it. It's a great show. I love it because I feel like family because I am family with you guys. I'll try to get Lori to be more
you and Lori are family. I still didn't see Lori pop up, but she's still. We got to hear her in the background like we do Trish.
Yep.
She's smoking. Yeah, my wife smokes cigarettes. Not the bent ones, but the regular cigarettes. But I'll get her to be. She's not camera shy. It's just she likes being that comical sidekick off screen. That's what her niche is. So, yeah.
That's her over there.
Yeah, you got to point the right way.
Yeah.
Hey, Lori, come here for a minute. They want to see you on screen for a quick second. You still got clothes on? We're nudists.
It doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, we're after 10 o'clock, so no clothes is fine.
Mark LaForest is watching, so you got to get behind me and say, "Come on and get me over here." And say, "I want to see your awesome shirt." You got to do that.
You know what we'll do? Hold on.
Stop. I know where I'm going. You need to lean
All right,
forward.
that's forward. I'm leaning forward. I'm leaning. Here, I'll tilt it.
Hi.
There she is. Hi. You can't see me waving because I got you in solo, but hello.
Yep. This is the heart and soul.
Hi, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You can't see him, so don't lie.
No, I see him on the phone.
Oh, yeah, they're on the phone. Stand up, show me your Enterprise shirt. She's got an Enterprise shirt on from the
Nice.
Enterprise. We're just a bunch of Star Trek geeks that got lucky. That's all it is.
And see, I wasn't thinking. I actually have a Star Trek Enterprise shirt that I've never worn yet because it's like the blueprints for the Enterprise. And if I was thinking, I would have wore it tonight.
Well, here you have the whole Serdinsky family with you to say thank you guys for having us tonight. Thanks for promoting the show all these years. It does not go unnoticed or appreciated. Thanks for putting up with my little smart aleck antics and all that. And if I'm picking on you, that's because I love you. And, I just, one day when we can actually sit down and actually drink without these millions of viewers that you have knowing my personal business, I'll tell you the true life story of Sean Serdinsky and Lori Serdinsky. And their little dog, too.
Well, we're already thinking, because since you're not going to be able to make it to Olo this year, just because you're getting ready for Bartow, which is awesome. That's the most thing. We are going to have to get together because we're going to need flyers to put out at Olo so everybody knows to come to Bartow the next weekend.
When they get here, I have 1,000 flyers coming, and they're not show specific. They cover all the Syfy Bartow. So if you put them out, you keep them, and the next show you do, even if it's the next year, you still put them out. But Thomas at Chilton Signs and Design is doing those for us, and he does all my work for me. He's getting them for me. I'm going to pick them up in December. We'll mail them to you. That's not a big deal. Another reason we can't make it to your show is we have a huge car show we're DJing that weekend as well. And, I love you and all that stuff, but $600 for 4 hours of work is hard to walk away
Hey, no, we totally understand. Everybody has everything. Um, Now, Mark LaForest is asking when is Olo? Olo is February 13th, Sunday at the Rosen Plaza. Um,
Oh, you
we're
moved to
actually,
Rosen? That's awesome.
yeah, we moved to the Rosen Plaza because where we were at doubled the price on us this year.
Oh,
Oh, because of your popularity, of course.
Yeah. So we actually got the Rosen Plaza, which is double the space for a little under what they were going to double the price to me.
That's fantastic.
So how you said we were gonna, we were gonna grow, you saw that. Well, we actually went from having 54 tables to having 91 tables now, and
Fantastic.
we're still able to keep the entrance price at the same price. So we're not killing anybody coming in. It's $8 to get in. Um, we will be having tickets through VetTix, so veterans
Yep.
can go to VetTix and get their free tickets to get in.
That's great.
We're very big with the VetTix, and then of course, um, we're there for everybody. But yeah, we actually go into the Rosen Plaza off of iDrive, right next to the convention center. And
Right.
the nice thing with the Rosen Plaza is they actually are excited to have us, and they want to grow with us.
Fantastic. Well,
So it's
that's what I was telling you earlier. Just stick with it. You got a good thing going, and you got my support. Not that helps or not.
actually that means a lot.
I'm gonna double check my schedule and make sure that car show is that weekend. If it's not, we might because Rosen Center is a little bit Plaza is a little bit closer to us than where you were before.
Yeah,
It's off
it,
I
it's
drive,
the,
right?
it's off of iDrive. Like I said, next to where the big box one has theirs.
Yes.
Not at the same place, but next door.
Right. I've stayed at that hotel. They never let
But
anybody.
we totally understand we now know that all that time coming up to the show is like, oh my God, it's mind numbing and it takes all your time.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do for you. Not that it's a big deal or anything. But, we always do a big reveal on the theme for the following year on the Friday night event. I will let you guys know what the theme is for your show, and if you want to release that information, and if I have any flyers or anything for it, that would be great because that's always like a big deal in Syfy Bars for our theme. And it'd be my honor for you to get to jump on that for me if you'd like to. So,
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Okay, so any last words, Sean, before we go?
Yes, thank you, you and Trish. I talked about a lot of non-sci-fi stuff tonight. I've talked about that. I picked fun at people. It's always fun, people. Just remember that. There's room for everybody to do shows and events, and all that I ask is just be kind and be courteous and be a gentle person about it, because that shit will come back and bite you. And I'm telling that to everybody. But for my final words is thank you all for your support of Syfy Bartow. It is truly for this town to make it better and bring awareness to it. I am humbled more than I could ever tell you. And because I never thought I would make it to year number 9, and I'm looking at doing it, in the future as well. I want to thank all my sponsors I mentioned, all my vendors that are friends of yours and mine. And I want to thank you and Trish. You've been a supporter of Syfy Bartow from the very beginning, and it does not go unappreciated. And and you know this, and you'll know it. You know it now, and you'll know it in the future. It's hard to tell people thank you when it's so big and fast. What do I do? Buy you a car? Do I send you a greeting card? Do I buy flowers? Do I whatever? It's just thank you. Out of my mouth is not enough for you guys. What you've done for Syfy Barstow over the years. I really, honestly, do appreciate it. God bless you both. And thank you for everything.
Well, I'm going to say this, and Trish will agree. From the get go, and I'm not talking about Olo itself, about the Orlando Collector Deviants, what we do. We've never done it for money, for notoriety, for anything. It's always been to help get everybody else's work out there to a wider variety. And like I said, it's never been for anything. We've always said when we get asked, "What do you want for promoting us?" Nothing. All we want you to do is say, like our page. You don't even got to promote our page. Just like our page.
Yeah. You guys hold a lot of power in the community, and what I mean by the convention circuits and stuff, because you do a lot of stuff for free for people. You travel all over the place for conventions. You do your walkthrough video, which I think is phenomenal. I've enjoyed those for many years. Keep doing that. Don't lose sight of what you and Trish love, because when you do, it's just another damn show at a convention center. So
Exactly.
always stay true to
Now,
what you do.
Exactly. Now, with that being said, join us next week. Is our week off. Of course, it's Thanksgiving, so we're not going to do a show on Thanksgiving. I'm going to be smoking a turkey. That's what I'm going to be doing on Thanksgiving.
How do you light a turkey when you cook it? I mean, do you just suck on one of the legs and light the neck, or?
No, it's all what you stuff it with. The wrapping that goes around it.
I've never smoked a turkey. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted.
Oh, no. But we will be back with the Drinking Wish show on December 2nd with Austin Janowski, comic book artist, actor. He has his hand in about every form of media right now.
Cool.
So we will be back on August 2nd. He is also one of the things I have Austin on. He was my very first interview ever. When I started doing interviews, he's the one who pushed me into doing interviews. Because every time we see him at the convention, he's like, "When are you going to start doing interviews? When are we going to do that?" So if it wasn't for Austin, I would not be doing this show. I wouldn't be doing interviews at the conventions or anything.
Well, he's a good guy then.
He's a very good guy. So that's on December 2nd. Once again, Syfy Bartow, February 19th, 2022. Make sure you're there. Free event. It is not a convention. I'm never going to call it a convention. It is a block party that has gone from 1 block to 10 blocks now. It is a great event. We don't miss it. I mean, we run into people that we know that's gone. Last year, one of my coworkers went to it with his family, fell in love with it, and he bugs me all year long for when the next Syfy Bartow is going to be.
That's what I love is stories like that. And it's free to attend. You got to remember that. So always push the free.
And that's what he loved. I've had quite a few coworkers over the years because to bring a family into an event costs a lot of money, and you know that. And they can come and bring their whole family, and it's free. And all he has to do is keep telling their kids, "No, I'm not buying that. No, I'm not buying that."
Yeah.
But they enjoy it. But they have the money to say, "I'm not going to buy you that." And they still usually walk out. By the time you see them at the end of the show, they're walking out with bags full of stuff. So
I have the good experience, whole family. So
everybody loves it. And with that much, Sean, don't take off. We're going to do the outro, and we'll talk a little bit after the show. Okay? All right. Until December 2nd, guys. Oh, I forgot to say. Oh, they would kill me. This weekend in Orlando, we got Free Play Florida, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We will be there Saturday. Come join us. It is one of the most awesome exposed out there. Sean, if you ever, I don't know if you like video games, pinball machines, the history of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Free Play Florida is the bomb. It
Nice.
is something.
I've heard of it.
I know it's kind of short notice for this next weekend, but if like next year, because it's a yearly thing, if you can get in there, our friend, both mine and your mutual friend, George Lowe, the voice of Space Ghost,
Oh, cool.
he is always a guest there. He is a big pinball fanatic.
Oh, yeah. He
I
always.
mean, but I actually got to play pinball with him, the old machines, a couple years back. It fun. Then on Sunday we got Lake County Comic Con,
Yeah,
which is put on by our friend Scott, who owns West Orange Comic Book Store. Used to run Claremont Comic Con, now runs Lake County Comic Con.
Nice.
So that's what's going on this weekend. There's probably something else I'm forgetting, but we're going to be at Lake County on Sunday, Free Play Florida on Saturday. So that's where we will be at. I forgot to say, and Mark says he has an Atari 2600 original Nintendo PS1 with the RCA output. We have all that. We have a TurboGrafx 16. Mark, if you like all that kind of stuff, Free Play Florida, they go back to machines before Pong.
There's actually going to be somebody at the show that has 2,600 cartridges.
Yep. See, there you go. There's going to be people there with 2,600 cartridges. Everything there at Free Play Florida is there for free. You can. It costs you to get in, but everything is free to play. Some of the machines are up for sale. Sometimes they debut brand new pinball machines. I was talking with the guys with Free Play Florida last week, and I don't know if you've ever watched Ted Lasso or heard about Ted Lasso on Apple TV.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Okay, there's a pinball machine that they play on that one of the characters is playing on season 2 in one of the episodes. That debuted at Free Play Florida 2 years ago. I played it. I flipped out saying it's on Ted Lasso, and I played it before it ever why it debuted.
Guess what? You and Trish need to come over and hang out at the house because I got a vintage Star Trek pinball machine in my Star Trek.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'll turn it on so you have to put quarters in it because I need money. So. It has all the original equipment on it. It's original series. That's how I met Mark Forrest.
Well, and that's what Mark is saying. I met Sean because of a pinball machine.
Yep, he did.
So, okay, with that, because I almost forgot to give them the shout outs this weekend. That's what we got a busy weekend. Next week is Thanksgiving, which we're not planning on doing anything.
Nope.
Except for smoking a turkey for 7 hours.
Yay!
You should see. I pass out on the couch afterwards.
He's smoking it. I'm eating it.
Okay. With that, guys, we will see you in 2 weeks unless we see you this weekend. Until then, take it easy. Peace out.
Live long and prosper, my friends.